Yeah, this market is really starting to shit on itself right now. Let's see what's going on here. This is what I love, baby. This is what I love. Shout out to everybody joining me in the chat room. Go ahead and post something in the chat room so I could just make sure that I'm on, if you will, please. And with that being said, let's continue to follow where what these markets are going. I mean, I just decided to go live and the market starts to go left, but I'm still enjoying myself. I'm just making sure my trades are a-okay. Making sure my trades are a-okay. We've got the SPY selling off real aggressively right now. Starting to find a leg for itself here. Here's AMD, AMC. All right, Bitcoin still holding at 37. AMD looking not so bad here. Again, I'm in an iron condor, so our trades are still looking okay. But what's going on, Tech? Trading with Mr. JOH. What's going on, guys? Just want you guys to trade with me today. If you already know, I'm already in my iron condors, of course. It's a good day so far with me today. My trade is a September 17th option. I'm between 3,200 and 4,900. Big and wide, it's a $40,000 trade. But I'm telling you, it's automatic money, man. You just, I mean, it's automatic money. I'm not gonna ever make, $5,000 a day. I mean, I give it to you on that. I'm not gonna make $5,000 a day or nothing like that. But I mean, a couple hundred a day, man. I'm with it. AMC falling apart, man. I appreciate you, Vaughn. AMC falling apart, and once it hits, I'm waiting for the weakness to really show up here in AMC, up here on the top left, or top right, excuse me. And it's not there yet, but I've been reading the forums, and they're talking about AMC 100,000. You gotta understand, man. America is a greedy country. Okay, people are very, very selfish. They're not gonna allow this stock to go to 100,000. Besides the fact that most people would sell if it ever got to 100. You got people who are in AMC that have been in there for $2, $3, $4 a share, which wasn't too long ago. And they're already selling as it is right now. See, I told this girl that I was going live and she's calling me while I'm live. Hey, babe, you're on speakerphone. I'm live. What's going on? Oh, okay. Hold on, guys. Let's see what happened here. What's up? Who? Uh-huh. All right, babe. Let me call you back a little bit later, babe. All right. God damn, man. Oh, fellas, these women. Don't worry, I'm not going nowhere. I'm still on my show, but I mean, the one thing I will tell you guys about is that when you are the breadwinner among your social circle, everybody calls you about their problems. Everybody calls you about their problems, man. You know, my girl is moving out of her apartment to another apartment, and the moving crew she showed up with, she thought she was hiring three people, three guys, and a big ass truck. And then one man shows up in a truck. He basically just showed up, and it's just like this old guy, and she's calling me basically crying. Like, it's just this old man in his little truck, and I've got all my stuff here. And, so now, of course, she's calling me because she knows I'm going to find a moving company with a bunch of dudes to go help her. And I'll do that, but it's just, man, this is just, you make the money and the money just, God, it comes in and it goes right out, man. Crazy, bro. Shout out to all the people joining me in the chat room today. Again, we're watching the market sell off pretty aggressively here. I mean, I watch on Clubhouse every morning. On Clubhouse every morning, there's like a little morning call, and I don't ever get on a call. I literally have like 2 followers on Clubhouse, and I just listen to these crackpots talk about buy this and buy that, shitty stock after shitty stock. Uh, Denying the fact that most of these just are crap companies. These are crap companies. You know, but I'm not trying to be a hater. I know you guys love Chris Sane. I know you guys love these guys who are, were hot when the market was going up, and now when the market's going down, they're not so hot no more. I've been looking at some of their comments, and boy, their comments are mean. They've got some mean, mean comments right now because the market isn't going their way. Because when you're not a real stock picker, when the market eventually shows itself, you're exposed as well. You're exposed as well. Here's the market again. So far, not a bad day for me today. I mean, I was up a lot more at the beginning of the day, being it's an iron condor. Again, going out to September 17th, my put side is worth a little bit more than my call side. So, but I'm way back out there in the puts. So we'd have to have a complete collapse. I'm more or less facilitating a 7 to 8% pullback, which would put us at around, uh, which would put us at, I want to say around 3,800. 3,800. That's kind of where I see where the market should be. I think we're very, very expensive. I think we're very, very top heavy. And a lot of people don't want to admit that, but, you know, that's really the truth. A lot of people just can't admit the fact that, we eventually have to go back to 3% GDP growth. You don't understand. You know, like America is not, we're not a Rwanda, we're not uh, a Burundi or a Venezuela or a Colombia where, you get like 10% GDP. No, this was a collapse of our economy due to, the manufactured pandemic. And then, you know, we had an incredible amount of, capital printed to generate the pop. And then, of course, we have to go back to being a boring, old, slow economy. And you cannot maintain the kind of valuations we're talking about. And that's why you're seeing it in the price action today. You can't maintain it. I mean, we haven't gone anywhere for 2 months, you know? So when I teach people about non-directional trading and stuff like that, oh man, it's too slow, or I'm only making $50 a day. Well, yeah, because you only got 3 grand to work with. You're only gonna make $50. You're only gonna make $100. But okay, once you continue to do those trades month after month, year after year, now you got an account that's 25K, 30, 50, 60K or more. And then now, yeah, you're gonna be talking about a couple $100 a day, a couple $1,000 a month, and then eventually a couple $100,000 a year generated from the market. Otherwise, you're gambling, taking 30% probability trades, and you're losing your ass. You're losing your ass. I appreciate you, Sal, or Sal Baptiste. Hope I'm pronouncing your first name right. So we're watching the trades, folks. Shout out to all the people who are joining me in the chat room today. Y'all didn't let me know that these dudes were going live, basically all market day. I would have been doing that if I knew those, you got these, white boys out here going live all day. I used to do 7, 8 hour streams. But I remember I would do these 7, 8 hour streams, right? And people would be like, "Come on, man, you still live? You still live after 5 hours? Goddamn, nigga. I went to work and came back and you still live?" And now everybody loves those kind of streams. You know what I'm saying? But we were already doing that. Bitcoin, boy, I'd love to see Bitcoin at 26,000. I want some Bitcoin at 20,000 so bad, guys. I would love to have Bitcoin at 20,000 so bad. Here we have the SPY. Again, my 1 minute chart here continuing to sell off on the SPY. You know, I'm trying to tell, I keep trying to tell, my black peoples out here, I'd rather make $100 a month on the market than lose $1. I'm telling you, I'd rather make 100 a month guaranteed or damn near guaranteed than make a trade that only gives me a probability of maybe 20 to 30 or 40% success and lose. Because the number one rule of investing is don't lose money. Do not lose money. Because it's, when you lose money in the markets, it's so hard to get it back. When you start off with 1,000 or 5,000 or 6,000 and you lose 1,000, just getting back to even or break even, it's hard because you start thinking about quick and easy ways to make a buck, and you start going on YouTube and following people crazy ideas and trades. You know, don't let these people put you in these get rich quick trades, man. Understand you got a long life. Most of you in here, you're under the age of 50, you're going to live to 100. Okay? You're more than likely going to live to 100, particularly if you're under the age of 50 right now with the advancements in healthcare and stuff. So you got a lot of days to trade. You don't need to be, doing on, these suicide missions where, risking your hard-earned capital. Absolutely, J21. I'm in a spread right now, right on the screen. You're watching it as it fluctuates up and down. As it fluctuates up and down. I'm up 390 today, unrealized at 1.1 or just over $1,100. The net profit of this trade is just over 5,700. But I do not hold to expiration. I typically, for these trades, like to kind of cut it out at around 3.5, and then go ahead and get into another 90-day iron condor. I think I got like 84 days or 83 days left in this. But so far, it's a great trade again. September 17th, between 3,200 and 4,900. I very well believe that the market will eventually sell off and break all the way down to 3,700, 3,800. I don't believe it's going to be this early, but I'm actually kind of surprised with this today's market action. We're at 421 on the SPY. Shout out to everybody who went short quick there. Very impressive move on the SPY with that sell-off. But the monthly chart still looks, we're still up there. Let me get rid of those drawings. We're still, well overextended. I don't want to say well overextended, but I mean we're up there. 74 on the monthly chart, right? So we got, we got to cool off a little bit at the top. So that's why I really don't understand people buying calls here when you're looking at the monthly chart and you're seeing, we're at the highest point in terms of the RSI in over 3 years. So it's clear that you're going to have some real price resistance here. What's going on, Jason? I appreciate you, bro. You said get out of Atlanta. These young dropping like fries. What's going on in Atlanta? What's going on, Blue Cousin? Last time I was in Atlanta, man, I mean, I'm not. What's going on with these brothers with heels? And I mean, it was just, I don't like when I'm with my daughter and I have to do a lot of explaining because people on that goofy shit. I mean, I don't like that because it's gotta, you gotta be weird. You gotta be careful because it can put spirits in people. You know what I'm saying? So. Uh, I don't know, just Atlanta is just a wicked place. It's a beautiful place, but it can be so wicked too. I don't really want to go into that, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. AMD selling off. I was really impressed with AMD last week. They were putting up some stupid numbers and have been really Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin's finding its last 2 weeks now. Bitcoin kind of finding its way there at 3,700. My thing is, I'd hate to be a buyer there and it's have it continue to go higher, but it looks like it's finding some kind of support here. You want to start doing spreads? What's a good budget to work with? You can start doing spreads with as little as $1,000. I mean, but obviously, the more money you make, the more money you have, the more money you earn daily. Okay, the more money you earn daily. Again, my trades are 90-day spreads, and I keep them on between 30 to 60 days. And I only use one product, which is the SPX, or sometimes I use the futures, but right now I'm using the futures right now. But I love the SPX when volatility is high. Right now, volatility is very low, so I'm using futures options. AMD selling off here. AMC is still up 15% for the day. Shout out to AMC, boy. They really got the suckers in there. You know, they really got the suckers in there. I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, at the end of the day, the trend isn't going their way long term. I mean, still people want to have the theater experience, but I just don't think AMC is going to be as big as they are now in the future. I mean, the home theater experience is just getting better and better and better, you know. But hey, Blu-ray's been out forever and people still go to the movies, so I guess you can fight that point multiple ways. Let's go to 1 minute on AMC. And by the way, if you're looking at another chart and you just kind of want me to just look at what you're looking at in terms of your stock, you just want me to comment on it or just see what I think, let me know the ticker in the chat room. Okay, boy, this market is really getting selling aggressively. All right, so I am red because the what's going on, T Kelly? Good morning. Yeah, I'll be live tomorrow as well. I'm gonna start doing this now. I'm gonna go ahead and get my channel back into shape here because I'm seeing a lot of people going live and they're not even entertaining. They're not even interesting. And y'all sit there and follow these people with thousands and thousands and thousands of views. They're not even interesting people. Okay, AMD 420, AMC. I got a small short position in Macy's because I really do like it here at 18, even though I think it could go a little higher just because of that whole back to work thing. But that back to work thing is, I mean, you know, again, I've been talking about this reopening. They've been talking about this reopening for 6, 7 months now. And eventually they gotta like, okay, we're open. I mean, you can't use the reopening all year, the reopening, the reopening, the reopening. because they're really trying to sucker more capital into the market by using the reopening. SNDL, is that sundial? Yeah, sundial growers. Yeah, it's looking good, man. Here's the hourly looking pretty good here. Let me go to the 3 day. Let's look at the 3 day chart real quick. That's looking good. Looking good on the 3 day. I mean, I really hope you're one of these people that got it here at sub $1 level. 70 cents, 75 cents, looking good. What's the catalyst there? I mean, obviously, marijuana, it's boom times have kind of came and went, and now that the wicked ones among us have realized after a very important study that came out in December that showed that marijuana uh, lowers I don't know what proper word for it is, but the viability of a man's sperm by like 33%. Now, government is in love with marijuana. You know, they love it. Yeah, look into that study. That was crazy. So the whole game would changed when it comes to MJ now when they realize they can use it as another form of birth control. People say I'm off base by talking about that sometimes, but man, we got wicked leaders, man. I'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. Today, I really just kind of want to get my feet under me with this going live all day, watching the market here. Boy, this has been a consistent sell-off since this morning. I'm red. I was up like $300. Those of you guys who joined me when we first opened. Now down 25 as those puts start to get really heavy. Those puts start to get really heavy now because my put side now is getting a little bit of pressure. And as we start to bounce, you'll start to see the trade level out again, and then you'll see my P&L go higher. But right now we're selling off. And again, I am projecting the market to go all the way down to 38, 3,900. So very well that we could see some heavy red. Again, I'm not expecting it so soon, but if it happens, it happens. And this is why I trade spreads. Back down to 4,200 again. Not a bad day. Not a bad day at all. ET, is that a ticker? Energy transfer, oil and gas and pipeline stocks. Man, they've had an incredible 2 or 3 months. I got to give it to oil and gas. It's been absolutely very impressive with what they've done. And stocks that I had shorted, a couple years ago are back alive again when it comes to oil and gas. I'm talking about like Murphy Oil, MUR, uh, California Resources, CRC. I mean, these are oil companies that were basically on their last legs, literally going to go out of business. And, you know, COVID was the best thing that ever happened to them because the Saudis cut supply to basically nothing, increasing the price per barrel of crude, saving those companies. You know, MUR, you go back to MUR, right? MUR was going to go out of business. This was going to go out of business. Uh, remove that. MUR, CRC, this is another one. These companies were going to go out of business, and they got saved, but they're still on my watch list because what goes up must come down eventually. Eventually. What's going on, Dave? Appreciate you, brother. Glad to see you still in the game. Yes, indeed. Let's look at OEG, Orbital Energy Group. Okay. Yeah, don't know anything about this company at all. That's a 7-day chart. Always good to see a good long-term chart, man. Always good to see a good, you know, stock that's making some names, making a name for itself. But this one, okay, I don't know what's going on with today. It just kind of exploded. I'm sure there's some underlying news there. Obviously, if you were in the rip, congrats to you. I wouldn't buy now, obviously, because you're clearly not seeing much demand today as people start to sell into the huge gap up. Norwegian Cruise Lines. Are they at sale yet? I mean, are they finally at sea or no? Because I think it's NCLH, right? Is that what you mean? NCLH? Norwegian Cruise Line NCLH. Are they finally at sea or no? This is one of those businesses again that wasn't even at sea yet had a stock that was going up. And they got a gap to fill. I think it's going to be very lucrative for investors here. And I won't say call it a gap, obviously, but I mean this was a $55, $60 stock. Now at 32, yeah, I guess you might have something here. And this is really interesting because when you look at a lot of companies, uh, they are above their pre-COVID prices, even though they haven't yet returned all their pre-COVID revenue. Particularly if you look at a company like what's that concert company? Live Nation, right? You look at Live Nation, it's above its pre-COVID price and hasn't seen even a trickle of its pre-COVID revenue. So that's a very dangerous position. But the justification for the long side, they're saying, well, when concerts come back and Jay-Z and Beyonce and Bono and Cher and all these people go out on concert, it's going to be an explosive move for them. And you know, for this year, I could see that. I could see that for the rest of this year, you know. But eventually that wanes down. See, a lot of people don't understand. They don't talk about the wane down part. Uranium stocks. Okay, yeah, uranium, lithium, all that's pretty hot, man. I mean, we're learning a very dangerous lesson right now with semiconductors, where you have the Chinese who are basically saying we can't have any semiconductors, and many Americans are losing their job because of it. We got plants who are closing down shifts, and we had a president who was all about, helping us build jobs here in America, but when you eat the biscuits that the Democrats give you, I mean, you know, you made racism all about one guy, and I mean, we're learning a painful lesson now. Gas prices up, rent up, you know, it is what it is, though, man. UEC up 5%, uranium stock. Yeah, I like that. I mean, this is the monthly chart, and as you can see here, has been had a very healthy rise since January, and not bad, not bad. Alaska, are you talking about like Alaska Airlines? Yeah, okay. Last couple months, again, not so hot these last couple months, But really fighting and getting across that 60 RSI, I've talked about how that 60 RSI is really, a really important level on really any time frame. But, when you get on these long-term charts, uh, you see a stock crossing above that 60 RSI, that's where you start to get some real movement to the upside. And you can really kind of track that on any stock, particularly on, a stock that's very aggressive moving upwardly in like a Tesla or something like that or an Amazon. You go back and you look at these monthly charts and you go back and see what happens to these stocks once they got above the 60 RSI. And that's where you just see incredible momentum to the upside. I got an alert when I used to use equity feed on, weekly or monthly 60 RSI crossers. Those are very lucrative. Yeah, I mean, I'm big on, Monero as well as Bitcoin. I'm not really into the other turd coins as much because I see a lot of them just as, you know, sketchy manufactured ways to get people to give up their Bitcoin for these turd coins. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of them are just ways to hustle people's Bitcoin, you know, because at the end of the day, that's the one that's going to be worth the real money, you know. And a lot of people know this. It's just the fact that, they feel like, oh man, it's at 36, so I can't get my 100%. I mean, I can't get my 200%. Can't get my 300%. But the fact of the matter is, you really can. I mean, some of you guys are, early 30s, late 20s, whatever. You're still going to get your 100%, your 200% on Bitcoin. I really believe that. And the probability for that is higher than, some of these altcoins, you know. But I got to give it to Doge. I mean, Doge did its thing for when it was hot. It did its thing. I know when Doge was hot, it did its thing. I mean, you had guys who would put in 1,000 and then just pull out 2,500 in a week and a half or less, you know. But, lesson learned, when you invest in the cult of personality, eventually personality lets you down. I mean, he went on Saturday Night Live and it was terrible. That was terrible. And you realize the man's really not that funny. He's a cornball on Twitter. I mean, I could have told you that on Twitter just reading his tweets. I mean, he's on that kind of goofy nerd shit, which isn't bad. It's made him a billionaire. But the dude wasn't, they was trying to put him up there with like Adam Sandler and all that type of stuff. He's just not that dude. Najee is 1025 MV, 1025 MV, and I'll probably change it again because I'm ADD about that. SPY finally finding some kind of support here, at least on this low time frame. My spread's bouncing a little bit too. So back in the red, back in the green, excuse me. Yeah, but you can't get emotional about these positions. You just got to know you're right when you're right. For example, on my trading course, I have a 3% strategy for those people who just love risk like that. I don't know why, but if you love risk like that, uh, you can quickly realize that the market is moving within 3% basically every week since January. So if you've had a 3% iron condor for the week, right, left to right, 3% wide, you won every trade since January 31st. Every week, every single week. Now, the problem is that when you trade spreads like that, you've got to be very careful because, you got to realize, you know, what weeks are going to work out best. I mean, if you're starting out, 85 RSI, I'm probably not going to do 3% on each side if you're 85 RSI, all right? I mean, you're almost asking for a pullback. Or if you're going into the week 33 RSI, I'm not going to do 3% each way because you're expecting a huge move to the upside as people dip by. So you've got to go into those weeks understanding where you are in the momentum and say, okay, this is going to be a good week for that trade. But it's been a winning strategy every single week since January 31st. We got the Qs not going anywhere. We got the Qs not going anywhere. And this might be one of those years where, which hasn't happened in a long time, where, the SPY outperforms the Qs. Last time I believe that happened was 2016, with the election of Donald Trump, where you saw basically everything, infrastructure, everything, energy, just plow and destroy tech. QQQQ, MSFT. You said, yeah, Carnival Cruise Lines. Here's the 3-day chart. You're kind of up there. A stock that a lot of people are sleeping on is Ford Motor Company, man. I mean, Ford Motor Company, you're kind of up there. It's had an incredible May, but I still think, this is 25 and higher, man. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen, shout out to MKHB and his review of that Ford truck, and watching the review, and he talked about how, this is basically a truck that you can bring out into the middle of nowhere and light up an entire camp. You can go ahead and do construction where there's basically no power using the truck alone. I mean, this is an incredible product that they're about to put out. Ford and GM about to put a huge dent in Tesla, and I think people are really, uh, underestimating both of those companies. Because now it's clear that they are taking, you know, EV very seriously. They very are taking, they are taking that very, very seriously now. Yeah, I'm actually redoing it right now, man. In fact, no, I'm not gonna play it now, but I'm actually redoing it now. And part of the reason I've been kind of slow on it because I actually do make sure my trades actually work before I present them, just because I don't want to, go to bed at night knowing that I got bullshit out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not one of those dudes. I actually want the strategy to work for people. But I would say I'm about 95% done. I'm pretty much done, but I really wouldn't want to see these trades come to completion before I'm very correct. But the strategy very much is going to be the same. Uh, but just now, you're going to see a lot more emphasis on, that 90 to 65 day. I think that 90 day is really the new, you know, 90 days is the new 60 days. 90 days is the new 30 days, just because we're at now a level for the market that you got to really ask yourself, where is the other growth coming from, right? Where's the other growth coming from? So if you're in these 30-day, 25-day, I think you're putting yourself at a disadvantage from being able to get uh, some serious delta by selling 90-day or higher, spreads. Just look at the last 3 months. Just look at the last 3 months. We've gone nowhere. So if you've had some of those 90-day spreads, those 60-day spreads, you made a lot of money. You made a lot of money. And if you had these 30-day spreads or less, you really haven't taken in serious delta. You know, you could have taken in a lot more at a lot faster rate. You know, Say crypto is a pump and dump other than BTH and ETH. Yeah, I agree with you. I think in the end, it's going to be Bitcoin and ETH, you know, and you're going to have, a crypto or two that would be, I would consider, let's say, like a prize crypto. That's why Doge did make sense for a little bit when people talked about it as, let's say you're in these, nationwide or global, um, contests, right? You're in a contest with people all over the world. Well, it makes sense that, maybe they pay out with Doge, right? So I could see an altcoin being kind of that out there, you know? Absolutely. That Ford truck is very, very impressive. That Ford truck is going to be very impressive. It's going to be a game changer for, the world, really. And it's affordable, you know, and it's affordable. Boy, market is really selling off, boy. Shit. Y'all got my spread going crazy. Again, I started the morning up 1100, now down to 7. My thing is sell-offs are very quick, so I'm with it. I mean, I'm with it. If you're gonna sell off, sell off. Go ahead and do it. Do it now. Get it over with and let's get back to it. Okay. Let's see, guys. We got QQQ. QQQ still struggling to really do anything for us. Tesla continue to be disappointing. You know, I got a lot of heat for talking about Tesla going to 300, but again, I mean, show me how it gets to 1400. You got these people who are going on YouTube talking about Tesla 4,000 and 5,000. Ah, man, unless they come out with a $20,000 car, I don't see it. I do not see it. Ford, let's go back to AMD real quick. Up $1.89 or $1.50, excuse me. AMD up at $81 a share. Nvidia still in my pattern here. I'm really looking for Nvidia to break out of that 642 level. You know, I was looking this pre-market, but got out of there and then came right back into it. So, I thought I'd ride Nvidia, but yeah. Yeah, when I look at, SPCE and Virgin Galactic, I mean, you really are again, betting on what it can be. You know what I'm saying? And you get to a certain point where, man, sometimes these companies have to just start delivering. You just have to, they just have to start delivering, man. And you know, when you look at Virgin Galactic, what's becoming very clear is that it's harder than it looks. And that's why so many of these SPAC EV companies are struggling, because it's just harder than it looks, man. It's really hard to get people into space. It's really expensive. It costs a lot of money. And SPCE is a company that is a beneficiary of very low interest rates. As long as interest rates stay low, it's going to be very easy for them to get the money. But as interest rates creep up, then it becomes harder to get financing. It becomes harder to sell it at an affordable price, right? Whatever it is that they're going to provide as a service. And then now your probability of being successful goes down as well. So understand when you're in SBCE, you're betting on the future, and you're saying, can this company really pull this off? And if you believe it, then you've got to be able to say, I'm going to ride 50%, drops for the probability of, making 10x my investment if it works out. Because it could work out. Tesla worked out. Amazon worked out, but again, it took 15 years, right? I mean, it took a long time. You go to Tesla, you go back and look at, the chart from '07 or whatever it was. I mean, it took a little bit. So you're just gonna have to be patient, you know? Gonna have to be patient, you know. I'm a lot of people don't like to hear this, but there's no money better than slow money. You know what I'm saying? People build dynasties on slow money, but we got people trying to teach us, how to get it fast and quick, and you know, it's not even respected out here like that. If there's one thing I think we'll look back on the beginning of YouTube is just that, you know, that hustle to get it quick was a real detriment to a lot of people's advancement as, traders. But then that's just the evolution that you all have to go through. I mean, I think I had to go through that as well. That fast money just doesn't work, and that it's not consistent money. You know, it stresses you out. It keeps you away from your family and your friends. It keeps your mind in a really low value state. You know, God damn the spy. Come on, get some legs now. I mean, if you're gonna sell, sell. Unless if you're gonna bounce, bounce. But look, if we're gonna go down, go straight down. Just go. There you go. There we go. There's the spy. I'm red now. Just go. Instead of that half-ass shit that it likes to do. Do you think Apple is going under 100? Well, that report about slowing iPhone sales was very disappointing, John. I mean, but again, look, what was hot eventually becomes, a dud too. I mean, shit, you know, there was a time when I'm trying to think something that was hot. BlackBerry. I mean, it was BlackBerry was hot. Everybody wanted a BlackBerry. Now you see somebody with a BlackBerry and you wonder about them. So, you know, is it game over for the iPhone? I don't think so. I think the user experience is still very, very lucrative. I still think people love the camera, although Android is catching up, you know. So you just got to be careful, man. And also you got to understand some people they put out these reports to manipulate the market so they can get in cheaper, so they can get in cheaper. I thought we saw a lot of that foolishness uh, late into the year as well. You know, that's a situation I believe that's going on with Bitcoin right now. I think Bitcoin right now is going through that where you just having, people saying I don't like Bitcoin or we're not going to invest Bitcoin or we're not going to take Bitcoin, and then sure enough, you find out this person hasn't sold any of their Bitcoin, just been talking shit about it, you know. because these companies didn't want to buy in at 65, 70, 75. Well, now they're taking positions. You better believe it. So Apple has made the same phone for the last 6 years. Well, I mean, in brand, but I mean, obviously they've made improvements every year. But you know, they've got to push. They got to push the envelope. They've got to find a way to push the envelope again. You know, because what's going on with the last two iterations is people have been starting to question why they should even upgrade. If you've got the last two iterations of the iPhone or the Galaxy Note, you're looking at next year's model and you're like, do I really need it? You got to really, push the model to the next level now. So are we going to go to some new form factor or something like that that gets people to say, okay, I got to upgrade or I got to buy into this new thing? For the fact of the matter is, for the last 20 years, our phones have been the same shape, the same form. So, it's going to be time to switch it up. Real talk, I'd love to see Google Glass come back. Shit, I love that Google Glass. How many of you guys remember that? I was a big fan of that, but, couldn't afford it at the time. When you see it on eBay, it goes real quick, but I'd love to see something like Google Glass come back. You know, I think we're now in a time where, if you wear something like that over your eye, I think, it wouldn't be as weird as it was when it came out back in, what was that, like '04, '05, '03, if you guys remember Google Glass. So it happens every 4 years like clockwork with Bitcoin. Okay. See, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, though, Tyrone. But to finally answer my man's question, you can't deny that Apple's struggling here. I mean, again, we're only up $14 from May of last year. So the stock really has done nothing but provide people with dividend revenue for the most part. Bitcoin, SPY selling off, new low a day on SPY. I'm in the red. I am in the red. I'm thinking if I should buy some protection, but I don't think so. There's no necessity for that. You know, the last time I really cried, the last time I cried in trading was the third day of that COVID sell-off. Was the third day of the COVID sell-off because it was just like I remember just like yesterday, bro. Because still playing my spreads, killing it, right? Month after month, just killing it, killing it, killing it. And then I remember that first day was like a 3% day. I was like, okay, all right, 3%. Oh, I mean, it was tight, but it was like, okay, what the fuck, you know? Then the next day was like 7%. I was like, what the fuck? That shit was painful, bro. Painful. That shit was painful, you know, watching your account. And other people had it worse, you know what I'm saying? Other people had it much, much worse. You got to understand on those days you lose, six, seven, eight, 9,000, 10,000. Somebody out there is losing 10, 20x that. You got people out here who got some real capital. 80, 90% of their wealth is in the market. When you're talking about some of these billionaires or millionaires or family offices, 90% of their wealth is in stocks. So there's always somebody, having a worse day than you. But I did cry that day, man. I'm not even gonna lie, I cried that day. You know, I cried that day. I definitely did cry that day. But then again, when you know what you're doing, then you're gonna go back in there and you say, okay, well, you know, let me just go ahead and buy this bull put spread and hope the Fed is gonna do something. Sure enough, they stepped in and gave everybody reparations, and next thing you know, we were on a rocket back up. We were on a rocket back up. Less than a couple weeks later, what was that? Less than 3 weeks later, 2 weeks or whatever it was. And then they felt so bad. They felt so bad about the run in the stock market. That's when you started seeing, okay, we're going to start sending people 1,400 and 1,300 because it got so, the heat was so bad about the fact the market is going up, but so many people were out here struggling. They couldn't hide it anymore. It's like, okay, all right, we'll start giving the people some money. We'll start giving the people some money. Oh my God, now they doing this leaf blower guy here. And when I guess we're supposed to be getting another stimulus check, they got to send at least one more. But there's no such thing as a short-term government program, man. So, you know, now they can't stop sending money. They can't stop sending money. They're going to keep sending money, keep sending money. Biden just announced, what is that, a $2 trillion government budget? They can't let go of the money. That's why even the Federal Reserve can't stop printing the money because they know what's going to happen if they stop printing. They're trapped. They're legitimately trapped right now. Look at the SPY. See, I guess my show was appropriately titled, "Waiting for the Bubble to Pop." Appropriately titled, at least for today, anyway. And again, it's not, today isn't even that bad, man. We just had a gap up, and that's pretty much it. I'm just kind of playing on emotion, so I don't want everybody to panic or anything like that. Today's a nothing burger. Like I said, that day for COVID, the third day into the COVID, when we opened up limit down, boy, that was a day to cry. When you open up down 4 or 5%, that's when you start crying. Adam talking about gold and silver. Adam, I don't know if you're still in the building or not, but man, to be honest with you, I kind of, given up on gold and silver, man, just because I'm just so disappointed in what and how they performed. Considering everything going on, it's just very, very disappointing, honestly. But some people blame cryptocurrency for taking all the money out of physical metals. If that's the case, so be it. Maybe we've just moved on to a new store of wealth. You know, oh, Nancy, that I'm kind of answering your question at the same time here. That I think we've moved on to a new store of wealth, man. And when you look at gold and you look at physical silver as well, do they still have value? I mean, of course, but when you're looking at the 5G world, the interconnected world, I think speed matters. I think transparency matters, and gold and silver just can't give you that. You just can't get that. When you start doing business on an international scale with intermediaries that aren't billion-dollar companies, right now we're talking about you know, making purchases and trades with someone who's just like you in Korea. Cryptocurrency just does that so much better than, gold or even your fiat currencies where you have to kind of go through third parties, you know. So I hope that answers your question, but I just don't see where gold and silver makes sense anymore, man. I just don't see it. I don't see where it makes sense anymore. These countries are printing money like crazy. You know, even just to buy gold, you got to prove this and prove that and prove this and prove that. When it's time to sell, you're not even really getting, market price for it, and it's cumbersome to transfer, to store, to secure. I mean, it's just, and cryptocurrency, you got people carrying around millions of dollars in these little flash drives. You know, it's just makes more sense, man. You said the whole point of it is that it's an anonymous, decentralized system. You said it isn't transparent. What makes you think it's not transparent? What's going on is you have companies that are trying to create, intermediaries, but there doesn't need to be one, right? We as a society are starting to come to the conclusion that, oh yeah, I need Fidelity or I need Coinbase or I need Square to hold my Bitcoin. No, you don't. You don't need these people to hold your crypto. And honestly, it's not good for them to do so. It's not good for you to have these third parties holding your crypto. But we as people being ignorant have allowed ourselves to be manipulated into believing we need these third parties. But we don't. You really don't. So cryptocurrency in itself is very transparent, particularly Bitcoin with the blockchain ledger. But you just got to be determined to stay off the grid, to stay off, the plantation by believing you need these services to hold it and store it and charge you fees and all of that stuff to move it around, you know. And you got the wicked ones, Robinhood, who I call the wicked ones. They're the ones that are letting people buy it and not taking it off their platform. Because if you could take it off their platform, buy it without fees, take it off their platform, you wouldn't need anyone else. Fair. Just keep it going. Trying to watch the market do its thing now. So Robinhood is trash. I agree with you 100%. Robinhood is trash. It's just not for traders, man. That's all. I mean, it's just not for traders. But, you know, it's just not for traders. The fills you get on Robinhood suck, but I mean, look, if you only got $500 to invest, you only got $300, there's not many places you can go. It's just not many places you can go. But when I see these guys on YouTube who have 150, $160,000 in a Robinhood account, I'm a little bit suspicious because I'm thinking they got these kind of fake, bot apps that you can make on Fiverr to make it look like you got a real Robinhood account. They got these programmers on Robinhood and on Upwork. I think they're mostly on Upwork, where they'll make you a Robinhood interface, and you tell them how much you want, and they'll make it kind of look and do the whole, up and down, and they'll make it do all that. Go on Upwork, they're up there. Spider 420, hanging at that 420 level now. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Anybody been watching this prolific YouTuber called Kevin Samuels? You know, when I started seeing his videos a while back, I really did like his videos talking to men and stuff like that. But it was clear that, he wasn't really gaining traction like the other red pill guys. But eventually, he just made the switch, I want to say last year, to talking to women, and it's just really taken off, man. It's really, really taken off, and he's really found a niche for himself. Really found a niche for himself. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Got 35 people in here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you can for me. I appreciate that. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Yeah, Kevin Samuels. I mean, a lot of people like him. I mean, I've learned to like him. At first I thought he was a little tough on the women, but then again, somebody told me like, we kind of have to be tough on them a little bit. Like, and then it's not in a bad way. It just sometimes some people need to hear the painful truth. And all he's doing is just talking like a dad when you really think about it. It's just that a lot of people, when you don't grow up with a dad in the home, you don't hear those kind of, particularly women, you don't hear those kind of voices. So that's really where it comes from. Is the fact, a lot of people don't grow up with that kind of energy in the house. So to hear it is like, oh my God, he's so rude, he's so mean. No, it's just being a 50-year-old man. Like, if you ever been in a house with a 50-year-old man, I mean, that's just kind of how a lot of them talk. But again, when you're not exposed to that kind of energy, oh my God, he's so tough on women. He's so abusive, verbally abusing women. You know. Well, Nancy, you said you watched him. You kind of gotten bored of him. He seems to be chasing the hit he got when he made that average at best video that went viral. He's exposed women's crazy standards. But yeah, women they can't get enough of him. The guy's he's going to hit a million subs here in just a minute. So he's got a new audience, which is women watching other women. Look crazy. And women are going to continue to call him because you have a lot of women who just want to, they know they have issues and they want to hear a man tell them they have issues. You know, they won't accept it from, you know, a guy that they're dating or someone they're interested in, but they'll accept it from a guy with a platform with a million subs because it makes them feel better. Like, oh my God, this, YouTube celebrity just told me my life is a mess and yeah, I got to get my life together. And they'll fuck with it. Yeah, he's getting a lot of hate right now, but I mean, the hate's gonna make you greater, man. I mean, the hate's gonna make you greater. It's what's gonna push him to that next level. There's no, you know, better promoter than a hater. There's no better promoter than a hater. So that's working good for him. You see him last night. He had 23,000 people live. 23,000 people live, and you got to understand for a black YouTuber, that's a lot. Some of these Other groups, they got guys who they'll go live and they'll have 100,000, 200,000. But that's a lot for, and I think that's the most I've ever seen for a black YouTuber. Carl, you said you're waiting for big things from Apple. Okay, we'll see it deliver. Yeah, they do. It's a lot of. Well, I mean, you got to understand when he talks about it, that the only people that hate his platform particularly are much older women who've made some very, unfortunate mistakes when it comes to their dating life. And now they're kind of in the back end of their quote unquote sexual place value. So, they can't really make adjustments, you know. And I totally get what he's saying. I think he doesn't talk about plastic surgery and stuff like that, but there are things women can do to look more, to look more in and more, look better, to kind of stay hot. What makes a woman beautiful to men is the fact that she looks like she can have children, right? So if you are an older woman, even if you're in your late 50s, late 60s, if you look like a woman who's capable of still having children, you are still attractive to men at the lowest, uh, what the word for it is. I know this, I don't want to say animalistic, but you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. As long as you can look like you can still have children, you'll always be sexually attractive to men. The problem is that women let themselves go in their late 40s, early 50s, into their 60s, where they no longer look like they're fertile women, and that's when, the attraction dies off, and now you're just an old lady. You know what I'm saying? You're just an old lady. But every guy can tell you he's met a woman in his 60s, I mean, in her 60s or 50s that was like smoking hot. And if you ask him, like, dude, would you hit it? And he'd be like, hell yeah, I'd hit that. Well, why did you think she was hot? Well, because she looked like girls my own age. I mean, she still looked in shape and she still was, had a banging hot body. Well, okay, yeah, she still looked fertile. That's really, really what it boils down to. Spy, forward. Let's go. Market is really struggling to find some support here. Trying to find support anywhere. Tried 420, not having it. Now trying 419.50. Still very early in the day. Still very early in the day. Oh man, this pullback ate my account a little bit. But again, this is kind of what happens at the beginning of your spreads. This is kind of what happens here. So I'm fluctuating all over the place here. This spread has only been up for a week. So, at the beginning, you're just going to have all of these crazy rides up and down, up and down, up and down. Once you get to, day 33, 34, 35, then you pretty much get a consistent flow day in and day out, you know. Appreciate you, Steven. You said, what do I have right now? I have a September 17th, 3,200 to 4,900. And I think it's got 84 days left. It's got 84 days left. Yeah, 3210 over 3310, 4,900 over 5,000. It's a $42,000 position. And again, I just put it on just a week and two ago. And this is basically what I've been doing, every 60 to 63 days, putting on at 90 days, 60, 63 days. The strategy is 10%, 10%, 20% basically toward the put side, 10% to the call side. Right now, we're averaging in the market anywhere between uh, 3.5 to 5% a month in terms of movement. I think, in fact, actually, we just ended May. May was the lowest, was the worst month for the market all year. I think, in fact, you have to kind of go back to all year so far this year, anyway. So far this year, you might want to check investing.com for that. But we had been averaging about 3.5% per month for the market, but definitely slowed back this month, and even last month. And this month for June, I'm not projecting a very gainful June. I don't see 5%. Maybe I'm, again, cheating myself by not coming in closer. Why not 8% or 7%? But you just don't know what these people can drop and uh, what could happen here. So I'm always at 10% on my call side. I'm using futures options this time around. Yeah, I'm using futures options right now. I'm using futures right now. Yep, using futures on right now. So that's why you're seeing my P&L fluctuate there. And, unlike a SPX where it would be just going crazy right now, with the futures options, you get a little bit more of a respectable adjustment in pricing. It's not that crazy like you'll get with, these standard products. But so far, everything's looking good. I'm happy with where we're at. Again, I don't project a 20% pullback in the market, but like I was explaining earlier, about an hour ago, yeah, that 22% pullback during COVID was the last time I cried trading. The first time I cried trading was when I made a video about this when I lost 7,500 trading Roku. I cried at that moment because at that time I only had $21,000 in my account, so 7 grand was a lot of money. So yeah, I did cry, man. That shit was painful because I had just given. I think my mom and dad called me about something about their fence or some crap like that, so I gave them some money, and then my sister, she was laid on. So I mean, I had helped some people that month, and then damn, I blessed some people, and then I lose 75. I'm like, fuck. I just damn near had 30K, and now I'm basically, what just happened here? What just happened here? So yeah, I was crying like a motherfucker back then. And yeah, when COVID hit, I cried too, because it's just shit ain't fair. TS is promoting Kevin Samuels hard. Carl, who's TS? What are you talking about? Yes, indeed. And I'm going to be live tomorrow. I'm trying to be live all week this week. You know, like I said, man, I didn't know you had these boys out here that were going live all day, every day. I would have been doing it because this is basically what I do during the day anyway. You know, looking and staring at my position because again, once you start to get to a point where you can generate $5,000 to $6,000 every single month, you're not, one, you become a real lazy mother effer, and then two, uh, I can't tell you how stress free it is in terms of, just enjoying your life. It's 420. 420 now. Got back above 420. Market's starting to rip, so I'm starting to get some green back a little bit. I was down almost. I had hit the low sixes for a minute, and now unrealized is back up there. Oh, Tommy Sotomayor. Yeah, I mean, look, Tommy had his moment, but at the same time, yes, Kevin Samuels is Tommy Sotomayor, but a clean version. He's a clean, poignant, and detailed person. I mean, you look at Tommy Sotomayor's setup, and I mean, he just hasn't really, invested at all into, his setup and stuff. He just, you know, still, calling people ratchet hoes, and I mean, you gotta eventually upgrade the rhetoric to something a little bit better for the new times, you know. So yeah, if you call people, you know, bees and hoes and all these other kind of derogatory words, you're only gonna go so far. And Tommy took his stuff, or excuse me, Kevin Samuels took his stuff, cleaned it up, and now he's an incredible success. You know, Tommy could have did the same thing, but he's got his own demons. I mean, this is a brother that's got his own demons. Because I was a huge Tommy Sotomayor fan a couple years ago. And he was another brother who was going through women like crazy. Going through women like crazy, and dealing with his own uh, attachment issues. He clearly has attachment issues. And he's talked about that in the past where, his mom treated him badly or something like that. So, you know, but there's nothing to hate. Everybody knows that, yeah, he's taking Tommy's stuff. It is what it is. Nothing under the sun is new. You take from this guy, take from that guy, and you do what you got to do with it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on. Up, 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 up. I don't mind those 2%, 3% moves because what happens is that you'll move 2% or 3% and then you just get stuck. Like kind of like where we were for the last couple weeks here. You know, if you go back to, that March, you guys remember how explosive early March and April was? So, I mean, you love to see it, right? So, I mean, toward the end of March, we just exploded up and just got stuck. Boom. And we've been stuck ever since. That's April 26th. We haven't really gone anywhere since then. You go look back at April 26th, and we're not, not even 3% higher than that. You know, damn near 3 months. Right? 68 RSI, but never, ever, ever think we can't get overextended. So that's why I'm 10% from where we are right now. Yeah, on my call side, because you never, ever, ever think that we can't get overextended like we already are right now. You know, my put side, again, I'm at 3,200. My put side is right here. I'm waiting for it. I'm just like, man, look, I'm prepared. I learned my lesson right here back during COVID. I learned my lesson. 5% ain't good enough. 6% ain't good enough. You got to be way back down. You got to be way down there. You got to be way down because you just never know. Even though these are, every couple year kind of scenarios, every 4 or 5 years or something like that. But still, gotta be prepared. Said sell in May and go away. Yeah, that's been the phrase. But the problem with that phrase this month for me was the fact that everybody was already home and has been home for months. Shout out to all the people who are still going to an office or still going to work somewhere. My Walmart got so desperate, they started hiring people uh just off rip, like same day hiring. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And that used to be a Walmart where the kids would struggle to get jobs there because they all wanted to get jobs there just to, push carts or something like that during the summer. Now they had like at the front of the Walmart, you go in there same day hiring. Like literally hire people the same day. That's how desperate things got. So when they talk about they couldn't find workers, it's not just adults who didn't want to work. The youth didn't even want to work. 17, 18-year-old people, they didn't want to work. Kids 16, 17, they didn't want to work, you know. And a lot of them blaming unemployment. Unemployment wasn't giving bread like that. People are just starting to say, man, shit, these shitty jobs that aren't really paying money like that. You don't get no real benefits. You're not getting no real retirement plan. Healthcare is expensive. It's like, fuck it. I'd rather take unemployment that's not paying me than go to these jobs and break my back for money that ain't really ain't shit. You know? Yeah. Let me see. Let me see here. Okay. Back in the green now. As you can see, my iron condor is looking a lot better. As the pressure gets off my puts, I'm back in the green now. As the pressure gets off my put side, let's see what this AMC is doing. I'm watching this AMC and this. So I want to see if they're really gonna let them pull it off. I don't think so. I mean, I don't realize. I mean, do they feel like this time again they're not gonna be able to do that Citadel thing, or I mean, what do they think is different about this time? They already tried the same. They're gonna do the same move. They're gonna start restricting you from being able to buy it. I don't get these people, man. I don't get these people, man. What's going on, Kevin B? Damn, man, you've been watching me on the internet for a long time, bro. That was like my first YouTube account. That was like my first YouTube account. And we just got done talking about Tommy Sotomayor. That was when I really liked him a lot. Back then, this was like this is years ago, but Tommy Sotomayor was huge back then. This is when you can cuss and say mother effer and all. This was before where people were really making money on YouTube. Before then it was just about the popularity. But then when it started getting really commercialized and now guys want to make money and all that, then they of course started restricting what people could say and how they could say it. So he struggled with that and has struggled since. Let me see here, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We got a few stocks out here doing stupid things, but we so far so good. John, you think it's gonna pull an AMC? Steven, to answer your question, man, it's getting harder. I mean, because right now, even all the micro cap growth stocks are trading at levels that that are far above their value. But that's not going to be easy to find those anymore. I mean, because right now, if you're not already running, you got to ask, does it even deserve to run? What was TRLG, Steven? I don't know what that was. GameStop up 6%. I really don't know what they're doing with GameStop, man. Bro, this is crazy, man. But it just goes to show you like the ludicrous nature of the markets, just in general, just how people can be intentionally dumb. Like they can just be intentionally dumb. And it goes just to show you like how, you know, the markets can be manipulated if you get enough people who are willing to be intentionally dumb. That you can manipulate, a stock, you can, you know, get people to be, fooled into something, 'cause I can't justify GME at all. I just can't touch it just because I know the GameStop right up the street from my place just closed. Right? They just closed and had literally a $2, $3 sale where you had a bunch of flippers going in there and buying everything they had for $2, $3. These were PS4 games. You know what I'm saying? Some new, some old. They were basically selling them for nothing. And GameStop is still closing stores. Because the trend just isn't going their way. You're still going to have physical DVDs, but nowhere near as much as we saw when we were kids. Oh, True Religion jeans? Okay. I don't see, and just real quick to answer your question, Stephen, I don't see uh, anything that comes close to what, could happen there, in True Religion or Monster Energy drink. Do you see anything on even at the OTC level? Well, if there's one stock I could say is Hertz. I am kind of impressed with what's going on with Hertz. The new management team at Hertz, they are doing something there. Let's go to Hertz. Okay. Let's look at the monthly chart on Hertz. Because you remember this stock got to as low as what, 22 cent or something like that? 36 cents. 36 cents. Now trading for $6.20. This could very well be a double digit 20 plus stock or higher. I don't know if you've gone to some of these rental car websites, but to rent a car now is you're looking at it's like paying in a damn apartment. How expensive some of these places have gotten. Because you had some companies who said that they got rid of some of their access vehicles and now they're short. Now you go to some of these airports, they don't have any cars. They have a lack of cars available. You know, I appreciate you, MS. Thank you so much for the comment. And that's something I didn't want to get into because I didn't want to get people in trouble. But I've been talking about business credit and trading under a business for years because people don't understand how lucrative it is to have these investment vehicles that where you can put your capital in and be able to finesse the tax system. You had the president of the United States come out and he only, this man was a multi-billion billionaire and it only paid what, $75 or whatever it was in taxes. Because we understand that these people are able to use these vehicles to finesse the tax system, whereas the person working the 9 to 5, he's double, triple, quadruple taxed. He's taxed when he's paid. He's taxed when he goes to buy his food to eat. He's taxed when he pays for his utilities. He's taxed for his home. He's he is raped so many multiple ways by the tax system. So many years ago when I was telling people, get you a corporation, get you a corporation. I'm not even gonna, I don't want to put it out there like that and put no numbers out there, but I'll tell you one thing, the government gave me money to trade, not to put into my account, but gave me money to, you know, buy my upgraded camera, gave me money to buy new computers because of, COVID and what had happened. Simply because I had a corporation. Even though I'm its only employee. I'm its only employee. The fact that I had a corporation, I was able to show revenue. The government sent me money multiple times, multiple times for nothing. Just just to apply and put in, it's it's a finesse, man. It's really a finesse what these private companies, they're truly in charge of our government and they're able to create policy and laws to benefit themselves. And if you don't understand that you can do what they do on a small scale, you lose out on capital. You lose out on capital, man. You can do exactly what they do on a very small scale. You know, Semiconductor shortage with the cars here in Detroit. Yeah, yeah. I was talking about that earlier, how China is not letting semiconductors out to the U.S. They've decided to slow the roll on semiconductors. The media is trying to play it off as as an employee shortage or something like that, or uh, the boat's not able to get through the port. That's all BS. China is intentionally limiting the supply of semiconductors to the U.S. That was one of the reasons, that was one of the points Trump was making during his presidency about, more manufacturing coming to the United States because, it puts us as at risk, when we can't have plants run at full capacity when, you know, 70% of medications, 70% of medications, that are not prescription, by the way, not prescription, but 70% of our over the counter, just your simple multivitamins, and they're being made in China. Like a lot of those things should be made here, so it puts us as risk. So, but look, you know, we had unfortunately a certain group in this country fall for the okey doke, and now we have a president who wants to make the United States a de facto satellite state for China. That's basically what we are now. That's basically what we are now. You know, he's letting China rape us each and every kind of way, Joe Biden. And he, by the way, is not, I don't see him making it through his whole presidency because the dementia is just eating him alive. I was just watching him live the other day. He said 2001. I mean, this is crazy. 2021. I mean, he may have just slipped up, but he's been slipping up a lot. And then the woman behind him, people hate her more than anything in the world, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you get Trump versus Kamala Harris, the Democrats are in trouble. The Democrats are in trouble. If you get a Trump versus Kamala Harris, that's a game over right there. That's not even a competition. That's not a competition. That ain't even a competition. I wouldn't even put no money in Kamala if that was the case. AMD, and I'm going to talk a little bit tomorrow about what's happening down at the border. It's man, what's going on down there at the border is crazy. You said expanded on my house buying video. You've been looking to buy into it, haven't been. Well, it's hard right now. I got that house, uh, you know, almost 3 years ago now, and with the moratoriums and stuff like that, you're not gonna find anybody who's gonna do that kind of deal now, subject to now, because they're still on the moratorium, so they don't even have to pay. So you still now have about 4 to 6 million homes that are under this moratorium, but you've had a lot of people who didn't even need to go into that situation, so they've just been stacking up the money. But it's gonna be hard now to find somebody willing to do a subject to because they don't have to pay. You can't evict anybody right now. It's hard to evict people right now. It's hard to foreclose on anybody right now. So we've created a bubble in real estate that's just insane right now. I don't know if you guys have been seeing some of these real estate prices. So, but if you want to buy a home, just be patient because it can't go on forever. Eventually, the market has to come back to equality, and people are going to have to get foreclosed on, right? People are going to have to get foreclosed on, and markets are going to have to cool off. And yeah, you're going to find somebody who's going to, say, hey, I can't afford to pay this 7,000 to $7,500 debt, that I have to pay within 33 days, or they're gonna, take my home and it's gonna fuck up my credit. And a lot of people would say, Sal, well, you know, why couldn't they just sell the home? Well, sometimes you're in a situation where somebody has less than 30 days, right? Because that's typically where you're going to meet somebody at. They're going to have less than 30 days. So unless they have a cash buyer ready to go right now, and by the way, that cash buyer can't get a discount. He's got to pay, you know, everything to the dollar. Unless he has that ready to go, then he's ass out. And it's one thing to have bad credit in your 30s, or in your 20s, or even in your 40s. But if you're in your 60s and you're in your 70s and you have bad credit, life really fucking sucks. Life really fucking sucks. And most of these homeowners, you're talking to people, in their 50s. The majority of US homeowners are going to be over 50. So you find somebody who's in a subject to situation, they're behind 4 months on their mortgage. They understand, hey man, it really penalizes them because you really can't buy a home, you can't buy another home, you can't. So you kind of need that situation. You need somebody to come in and save you like that. And I probably should have expanded on it, but I didn't know how to speak so thoroughly on it. My video on my Instagram is still up, by the way. That ad that I used. If you go to my other company, it's called Sunset Properties. Let me see. What's my other Instagram page? Hold on. Let me make sure I give it to you right. Mm-mm-mm. Let me see. One second. One sec. I want to say it's Sunset. Sunset, is it Sunset Property USA? God damn, what was that other account that I had? Sunset Property USA, something like that. Sunset Properties USA. Oh, Sunshine Property. Sorry about that. Sunshine Property USA. Sunshine Property USA. That's my other IG account. And I don't use it very much anymore, but you'll see my picture on there and whatnot. That was, I tried to kind of come back later on last year, but I mean, there's just nothing out there in terms of. But Sunshine Property USA, and you can see the very last video I posted. That was the ad. Everybody kept asking me about what I was using, and I was using that ad, and that's actually an old ad. I made that a couple of years ago, but I still use it because it still works. And in the video, the guy that I hired to do the video explains basically what I need the person to do. So if they don't agree with what I'm asking them to do, they're not going to call the number. They're not going to call the number. Oh, I appreciate you, MS. Thank you. Yeah, the moratorium right now is what's stopping people from, getting evicted. So, a lot of your potential people that you would target, they don't have to go nowhere. They don't have to go anywhere, you know. And this was at a time where, even though I'm a veteran and, at the time my credit just wasn't allowing me to be able to qualify for a mortgage. That's what's. And it's frustrating when you got the money, right? When you got the money, right? And at the time I was paying $1,200 a month rent. And you got the money and the bank is telling you you can't afford the house. That's crazy. I'm paying $1,200 a month rent. The house that I was looking at, the mortgage was 816 a month. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? I'm making a monthly mortgage payment plus utilities plus, insurance and stuff like that I had to carry to live in that complex. I'm paying more total everything than I would be paying for total everything in a house. So, and I don't like to just, play the race card or something, but sometimes I just be thinking these policies are just to protect and prevent certain people from being able to get home, get into a home because it just don't it makes no sense because when you look at, that kind of what led me into doing a lot more research on it because when you look into, particularly a lot of our neighborhoods, you have people who are paying market rent or higher and could be living in the homes in those neighborhoods. So they're allowing these landlords to finesse your wealth when you could be building it. It's the whole system is fucked up. The whole system is fucked up. And I know, just from being a young man and just being out here, I know moms, with 2 kids, 3 kids, she's paying no Section 8, no government assistance like that. She got a little job doing her little thing. She's paying 1,200, 1,400 rent when she could have a house. But the bank is saying something she bought or didn't do 3, 4, 5 years ago is somehow, a justification for not being able to allow her to own a home. It's fucked up. I think it's a fucked up system. It's a fucked up system, and it punishes, individuals who don't have information, who are not taught at a very early age about credit and and about how to manage it. And that's particularly, individuals like us, you know. So, I don't want to get into because sometimes it burns my soul thinking about it, the fact that, I wasn't able to, to purchase a home until I was 31 years old when I know I could have got one when I was 24, 25. I had the money, but these institutions were on that shit. So, it is what it is, man. Say you're self-employed, they say they can't go off your gross income. My taxable income was too low. Yeah, but see that kind of goes back to, my days, when I worked at Wells Fargo for a minute, and a lot of the Hispanic community, when they go to purchase a home, they will put four people on the mortgage. And these are four people that sometimes they don't even know each other, but they're such a community. Sometimes it's an uncle or somebody like that. And when you put four people on a mortgage application, it requires manual processing because a lot of times it's just a computer, right? A computer just spitting something back to you, but it requires manual processing. So each of them really ain't making no money like that. But combined, right? Combined, you're talking about basically 99.9% approval. Most loans have just two people on them, but you can have as many people as you want who want to take responsibility for the mortgage. So when it goes into that manual processing and you're talking about a house that's, 210, 220, 225, you got four people, five people, that's getting approved, man. They make 30K each, it's done. That's approval, easy. Right? So even if they don't make no money individually, together combined, that house is getting approved. So what you'll find, and what I was noticing is that you'll see, you know, one man who will have two or three homes under his social security number. He'll already have two or three properties, under his name. And that's how they've been going around buying properties. And once they get to about two or three, they max out and they can't use them anymore. But that's how they kind of help each other out. They'll go on each other's mortgage, and it's lucrative because when it's time to sell, they get a piece of the profit as a thank you. Or if the person can't pay, then somebody else, you know, carries the load, or they do like a room for rent situation where they'll take the house and they'll rent out the rooms to other Hispanic men who are in construction or just kind of working in the area and stuff. So they've been hustling the system. They've been hustling the system, and all power to them for that. They found a way how to get around uh, that system of oppression, which is, you're one person, and if you don't get it, then you don't. You know what I'm saying? So, no, no, it's cool. It's cool. We just chatting it up. Anybody want to talk about anything, just let me know. Just let me know. We're just letting the market do its thing. But it is what it is. And I try to get my family on board, but it's just sad because we don't, as a people, just don't open our eyes. Because I'm like, and I got cousins. I'm like, dude, like, next time you go find a crib, let me go in on that house with you. You know what I'm saying? Let me go in on that house with you so I can get another crib on my credit so it can help me out. And I understand we're not the closest of cousins or whatever, but he knows what I'm doing. He knows when I'm out here making moves and whatever. He went ahead and bought the house, and now he's in trouble. And called me. No, dude, I told you to hit me up when you were buying the place. I would have gone in there with you, and you would have got a better interest rate. You would have got a better interest rate. You would have got a lower payment, and you didn't hit me up. So no, you don't get to call me now when you're in trouble. And he lost his job due to COVID. And you don't get to now call me because, when you went and bought it anyway, knowing that I was looking for an opportunity to, get another crib on my credit so I can get my score up there. Because I want that 850. You know what I'm saying? I want that. that bulletproof 850, you know. But man, just some people just they just don't have that thing. But these folks out here, man, these other groups, these Koreans, these white folks, they out here hustling the game, man. And you find some of our people who know what they're doing. Don't get it twisted, not all of us. But when you want to work with family, you know what I'm saying? You think family is supposed to be, you know, the people who want to help you, and it's like, oh man, you know. But then that's why I'm really excited about the information I'm giving my daughter and stuff like that. So I think she's gonna, you know, not have to go through some of the things that I had to go through. So that's always a good thing. What's going on, LK Raw? You said what happened to the nightly streams? Man, I started getting caught up in other people's streams, bro. I started watching other people's work. I started watching other people's work and forgot about my own. So that's why I'm back. I'm back doing this now. I'm trying to go, be go every day with this. So just pray for me that I can be consistent because man, it's hard to be consistent when the money starts coming in, bro. You start learning how to trade. The money starts coming in. Now, you know what I'm saying? The couple, 1, 2 rack that YouTube used to give me, now I don't really look too, you ain't really got to go that hard no more. You know what I mean? You know, motherfuckers who go hard at YouTube is because they need that YouTube money. When you don't need the YouTube money, it's hard to go hard at it. That's just facts, man. What's going on, Dollar Will? So you just got a house, 3.3 rate, had to pay it to get down to that? Okay. How much did you have to put down, LK Ra? Yeah, 3.3, 3.4. That's kind of where they're kind of getting a lot of the VA guys at right now. If you go in VA, no down payment, no PMI. It's very, very beneficial. Very, very beneficial for those guys who have served the country not to have to make a down payment. But I mean, look, you can finesse, you can finesse. Well, not so much in this market, but there was a time where, you can kind of come into a situation where you can have, the seller play your closing cost, or I mean, there's certain markets that you got to be in for that. But, now, there are no seller concessions at all because the market is so generous for sellers right now. You're not getting any concessions, unless you just write one of those, please, Mr. Seller letters that I've heard does work and has some influence, but you really have to be in a certain kind of market for that. Okay, I paid 2 stacks. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, it's hard to post, teach, and trade, but at the same time, man, I'm trying to put my personal life together or whatnot, and so it's so many other things you got to do too. I mean, guys who go hard at YouTube, I've been there, so I understand the sacrifice it takes to continue to create content, particularly sometimes on days when nothing is happening. Shout out to Chris Sane. Sometimes I clown him, but to go out every single day and make a video, even if it's just 10 minutes, knowing that, the night before you had gave some trades that didn't go right, and you have to go out in front and like everything is all good. It takes a lot out of you, man. A lot of people don't know that. It takes a lot out of you. And a lot of his trades been going left, and he still got to go out put a good face on it. And you go in the comments and you're reading all the hate and stuff, and on the video you don't see it, but once you put the video content out, in your own mind it's like, God damn, like shit ain't going right. I'm making content, I'm trying to put out these trades, motherfuckers ain't making no money. It eats at you. It eats at you. Yeah, yeah. Those that teach can't unless they are trying to prove a point or something else. Yeah, because I lost, a lot of money, at the beginning of my trading journey trying to follow Tim Sykes and all of that shit. And, there are ways to make it work, but the way he was teaching it, man, I ended up, losing a couple $1,000s when I initially started trading, thinking that his way was the way to wealth. And then come to find out, you know, sure, he's got three or four quote unquote millionaire traders, but then you see what they started out with, and then you see the thousands of people that he goes through and washes out every month, who start on the journey and then like realize, man, I can't do this shit. I can't get borrows. I can't get, the market to do this. I can't get a broker who can let me do this or that. And you realize it's just full of shit, But eventually, you'll find what works for you. Eventually find out what works for you. Let me see here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right. Let me see YouTube widgets. Let me see. So yeah, Beyond Meat. I didn't want to talk about that because I felt like every time I would talk about shorting Beyond Meat, it would pop up. But I called Beyond Meat the, greatest pump and dump of our time, or one of them, and one of the greatest pump and dumps of our time. And it's definitely getting down there. It's definitely getting down there. You know. Let me see here. What's going on with my alerts? Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Any suggestions? Yeah, Dollar. Well, I agree with you on that. It takes time to find your lane. Chris Sain Gessner. His name is Chris Sain. Sain. And his channel really took off with COVID. And appreciate the subscriber. His channel really took off with COVID, but now things are he's catching the heat with the market selling off because it's very easy to be to push stocks when the market is going up. Everybody looks like a genius in a bull market. Everybody's heard that phrase. Well, anybody who's been in the market long enough. But when shit ain't going right, man, that's when it gets real painful. It gets real painful. Up 155 today so far. I'm fluctuating. Those of you guys who've been here, I was down. I got down to what, 70, $80. Then I was up 1,000 unrealized. So I'm fluctuating all again. This is the power of spreads using futures options. The power of spreads using futures options. Any suggestions on AI and EV stocks? Is this a good time to get in? Absolutely, Albert Blair. I've been a big fan of Ford Motor Company as well as GM. I think Ford Motor Company and GM are going to be opportunities for what I believe are going to be 100% gains in the coming, you know, months and possibly years ahead. I know you want the quick money, but I think you can't go wrong with Ford and GM from where we are right now. Yeah, you said Chris saying it's cool. He went from 0 to 100K. He tried to repeat it again. It's not going as planned. Yeah, I mean he's doing his thing. It's tough. The market isn't uh, giving anybody any easy gains. But at the end of the day, what is true is if you are willing to put some time on your options, you're going to be able to do well. If you, for example, you go out, there was a trade. If you go out, let's say on Ford, or you go out, you're willing to, get a a spread on, let's say Ford or something. You're willing to go out 200, 300 days. You double your money on some of those trades, on some of those spreads. Now everybody wants money right now. But if I told you this time next year, you give me 5,000, I'll give you another 5,000. If you put it that way, most people would do it. But when it comes to a trade, people won't do it. It's crazy. They won't do it. If I told you you give me 5K and I'll bring back another 5K this time next year, guaranteed, practically. Right? The only thing is that that stock has to be above this level this time next year. You come to somebody, hell yeah, but in their own account, they won't do it. Dollar, I'm thinking you're talking about Canopy Growth. I think you're talking about Canopy. Bring this down a little bit. You're talking about Canopy Growth. Is that? I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about. Oh man, the marijuana, the MJ plays. I don't know, I feel like I left marijuana back in 2014, man. I just felt like that was such a disappointment. They just have not delivered, man. If you're looking at Canopy Growth, look at the last 5, 6 months here. This is the monthly chart on Canopy Growth. I just don't see it, man. If you're looking at it in terms of this is your first time getting in here, it's fighting to find some kind of support here. So, it's up to you to figure out whether or not it's found it. But I'm just not a fan of MJ, man. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm frustrated about why we can't seem to find any kind of leadership in regards to government policy on marijuana. Why are we still having these conversations about the same thing over and over again? I mean, I kind of know why, but I'm just, I understand that you got a police system that's made so much money off of the incarceration uh, of this stuff. So it's really hard to kind of take that away from them. You know, they're fighting. Government knows they got to legalize it, but they're just unwilling to just be honest about the fact that they got to decriminalize it, right, completely, and then they've got to turn around and remove penalties that have been, keeping people from employment opportunities and voting opportunities because of MJ. Because now when you legalize it 100%, you've got to go back and correct people's files. And you've got individuals who control the system who don't want to do that, particularly on the right, because you're talking about putting a couple million people back on the voter rolls who aren't on the voter rolls because of an MJ, marijuana prosecution or, and then when you're talking about student loans, financial aid, you got people who've been blocked because of that. So it's a lot of deep shit that goes into it, bro. Yeah, I just decided I just don't want to touch marijuana because of that. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah, eventually, we're gonna work. This is my first day back. Eventually, want to get up to some of these other dudes who are going live every single day and have been for some time, and they're only talking about two stocks. And I give credit to them. All they're talking about is AMC and GameStop. We're trying to do a little bit more over here, but it's gonna take some consistency on my end to really get up there. But I'm someone who I want to say has a knowledge that I'd love to share with people on more than just AMC and GameStop, because I don't believe they are the future in terms of serious wealth generation for the majority of people. I don't believe it. I don't believe GameStop is going to get you rich, over the course of your life. I don't think AMC is going to get you rich over the course of your life. Let me see here. Mm-mm-mm. Let me see here. But yeah, not to dig too deep into that real estate, but man, that's where it's at, man. That's that real estate and the stock market. Real estate and the stock market. If you can get into either of those, you're a-okay, man. You're a-okay. You know, you're a-okay. All my veterans, you should be getting yourself a multi-family property with your first loan, because VA allows for multi-family property, so you can live in one, rent the other three out. You know what I'm saying? Get other people to pay for your mortgage. Anything you can do to finesse the game. Anything you can do to finesse. You constantly have to be thinking about what can I do to finesse this system. All right, because the sucker move is the 9 to 5. I don't care if you are six figures. If it's 9 to 5 and you ain't getting no stock options or something, it's a sucker game. If you're not making sure that that income is also going into some kind of revenue generating business outside of your work. The most expensive part of any business is labor. So businesses are constantly looking for ways to eliminate labor, eliminate the cost of labor, you know. So you have to always be trying to find a way to position yourself to stay above the cost cutting, which is, maybe you just want to kind of just continue to study your ass off and continue to be more and more increasing your value more and more and more to the business and to the industry that you're in, or buying the time necessary to, you know, get that money that you get for trading your time for dollars and putting that into, again, a revenue generating business that can sustain itself. Spy, spy, still finding. Like we trying to find like with the lower day again. Sheesh. You got into SINT. I think Bitcoin is in, but the same truth for the dollar. Strange. Waiting for a successful retest. Dollar will. Where did you see the bottom for that? People jobs depend on certain people. People jobs depend on looking certain people up for it. You might want to reiterate that, LK Rob. I'm kind of lost you on that one. I got in SINT. Yeah, let me look at that. You just brought that up. Healthcare medical specialties. Very small company. Look at that. $38 million market cap. This is trading on the NASDAQ? Wow. Did they? Okay, so they sold off aggressively from. Cause I'm about to say, I mean, I didn't know they was letting $38 million companies on the exchange, but it looks like they had a huge sell-off way back when. AMC. I was looking, I wonder why Goldman Sachs was up. Let's look at. Okay. The only reason why is I'm guessing interest rates are up today, which is why the banks are up. Interest rates must be up, which is why the banks are up. Everybody was shocked a couple days ago when they found out that was it Citigroup? I think it was Citigroup. Citigroup made like 1.5 billion dollars in fees during during COVID. You know, 'cause these companies out here raping the people, man. I'm telling you, they made more money in fees than Coinbase made in revenue. These companies out here raping the people, man. Yeah, Dollar Will, you had said that Canopy Growth. Where was that comment? You had said that you were waiting for the bottom in Canopy Growth. Where's that bottom for you at? What's going on? This week I'm gonna send another email to Brother Polite. I've been trying to tell Brother Polite, you talking about you making, 20K a week from the market, brother. I want to show the people. Let's, don't tell me buy, you know, here's $99 for my course, and I have somebody who's bought your course, and they told me in the course that you're not teaching how to make $20,000 a week. You know what I'm saying? So come on my platform, Brother Polite. Every email. I'm not gonna. I want you to share the knowledge. It's not to beat you up or anything like that. I'm a huge fan. I just want to know how he's going about doing it. What's the method? You know, spy. Again, okay, we're going into boring hour now. Everybody's at lunch, so we're going into boring hour now. Down here so far, but not a big deal. Appreciate the subscribers coming in. Shout out to all of you guys. You said polite is a scammer. I don't know, man. The thing about dudes who are online and the scammers, they can only really hold it up for a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's a real scammer. But, Brother Polite going on like 10 years now, bro. You know, still has four wives, five wives. I do notice a couple of them have been replaced, though. I think sometimes when the money doesn't get shared a certain way, they dip out. But uh, still has four or five wives. Still going out to the Middle East and doing his thing. Once I get to a point where I can start making 10,000 a month plus just from the market, yeah, you're gonna see me in the Middle East. You're gonna see me in Tanzania. You're gonna see me in Senegal. Oh, yes, indeed. Let me get to a point where I'm making, yeah, 2,500 a day, because I got, you know, $220,000 spreads, and they're generating, $2,300 a day. Oh, yes. That time is coming. I mean, that time is coming, but you just gotta be patient. It's all good. I'm gonna have some gray hair when it happens, but as long as it happens, just gotta continue to stay disciplined, man. Just continue to stay disciplined. You said they can keep going until people stop giving them money. Oh, yeah, yeah. When you put it that way, it makes sense. People been giving him money for a long time, though. A long, long time. It's a long time. QQQ selling off here. The fact of the matter is, man, this market just doesn't have any gas, man. I keep trying, it doesn't have any gas. There's nothing here, man. There's no gas left. Man, you saw the Bucks advance last night. I can't stand the fucking Bucks, man. I cannot stand the Milwaukee Bucks. But at the end of the day, man, the Heat just didn't make it happen, man. The Heat didn't make it happen, and it is what it is. I really just started really getting back into the NBA this year. There was a time when I used to watch basketball, bro. I knew all the players and their names. I knew every name of every player on the court. Like back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I knew every guy who was in the NBA, every player. Because when you're a kid, like you think you're gonna go to the NBA. Like damn near every kid in my block thought he was going to the NBA. So I was watching the game I watched every damn game. I knew every player. Now some of these dudes, I don't even know who they are. I don't know where they came from. You know, so I'm slowly getting back into it. I'm slowly getting back into it. What's going on, Big? I appreciate you, bro. No, no, I'm trying to get my consistency back, so I'll be on today and tomorrow. My schedule is cleared all week. My schedule is clear all week, bro. I'll be on till about 2 today, and I'll be again live tomorrow till about 2 as well. Just because I got some things I gotta knock out today, and then after tomorrow, then I'll do a whole day where it's just a whole market day. Q Q Q. Come on, baby. Y'all gonna really try to end me at a red day today? My first day live. My first day live. I was hoping we get a nice green day, but looks like the market's selling off, making my puts heavy, making my put side heavy. So y'all go ahead and embarrass me in front of these white folks. That's what market loves to do, boy. But I mean, look, the hourly looks weak. We're at 52 RSI on the hourly, so I mean, we're just asking for a dump now. So I'm well confident in knowing that we're gonna have a dump here shortly. So let it just happen. I mean, that hourly chart has been horrible. Look at that hourly chart. It's just, look at the last 20 hours. It's just horrible. Horrible since the 24th of May. It's been no consistency, no strength. This is nothing. So when you get older, you don't have time to watch the NBA, NFL. You got to get money. Yeah, yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. There was a gap there of almost 10 years. Right, right. You're absolutely right. From about, yeah, 24 to 34. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really get a game in like that. You know, of course, if it's like the NBA championship, you give it some time, but just being a regular season fan, catching your favorite team's games all the time, I just couldn't do it, man. I just couldn't do it. You know, because these games be like 2.5, 3 hours, and it's different when it's football. It's a little different when it's football, but these basketball games be long, dude. They be long as hell. Now that I'm older, I'm really into being in those games live, being present for those games. But I mean, going to an NFL game is like paying for a mortgage, bro. Have you ever tried to take people to an NFL game? It's like you making a mortgage payment. I'm like, God damn, 175 for it. This is not even a good seat. 175? This is not even a good seat. This ain't even a good team. $175. You know what I'm saying? That's and in my mind, when you're a trader, I'm thinking that's like my commission for the month. That's a commission for my whole trade. You know, I'm about to spend three or four of those to take these people out to a game that they not even gonna really watch every down because some of them they gonna pull their phone out or we gonna be distracted talking and it's just one experience and next thing you know it's over. You know. So right now what I do a lot is the college games. Like the college, I started getting to the college games, 2019. That's where the real, the value is where you can still get a decent experience with your kid or a family member and still get that experience just going out and being able just to have some time together. So you get to some of these college games and the value is still there. It's still very, it's still affordable where you don't feel bad about taking the whole family out to a game. Because I did these NFL games a couple times and you just like, what the fuck, man? I done spent $600 for this goddamn game. Shit, we ain't even win. It don't even get me started on the $18 hot dogs and all, man. Shit. Let's go, let's go. Come on, market. You gonna be green or you gonna be red? Choose one. Let's go. Got me all in the red and shit. That's why we gotta come back harder tomorrow, man. Where's my where my bulls at, man? Spend the money. Spend the money. Hit the bid. I'm making my puts expensive over here. You know, I don't mind my puts getting expensive after my 30 days. Let me get my 30 days first, and then you can make it a little bit expensive because then you start to eat a little bit at my profit like you already are right now. I started the morning up 1100. Now I'm down 50% because they eating at my profit because it's easier at the beginning of your spreads to kind of rack your nerve. But once you get 33, 34, 35 days in, then you could have a 1% day, a 2% down day, and you're still green. You're still green. But this particular trade was a 90-day trade, but now it's got like 83 or 84 days left. It's still relatively new, so we're still now just trying to recover whatever green we can get right now. So if your trading capital is seven figures, you can make five figures a week trading. Sure, absolutely. But here's the thing, Steve. Uh, of course, you don't want to trade crazy risk, right? So we're still going to be doing far out options, but yes, absolutely, absolutely, you can do five figures a week, and that was the process of me showing my account because that's what I wanted to show people. That thousand that I was up at the beginning of the day, that was last week. That was last week. So my goal here is again anywhere between 3,600 to 45, 36 to 65 sometimes, 36 to 6,500 a month from my spreads. Uh, and again, that's 30 to 35 days. Sometimes we'll go 60, depending on how the market is going. And then we go into another 90-day trade. The idea is just making money from theta. That's all we're doing. We're just making money from the devaluation of these options as time goes on. So we no longer care about direction. We no longer care about who's coming up with what product and this product. Fuck all that shit. I ain't got time. I try to do that. I don't have the time for it. Just ends up stressing me out and pissing me off when these companies don't deliver. So now we just make money off the fact that options lose value over time. So where can we position our spreads to make the most amount of money, as that happens? So we know that the market moves up or down 4.5 to 5% per month. So if we got a spread, particularly a spread that has a shitload of money in it, we can position ourselves 10% on the call side, 20% minimum on the put side, and we just sit there for 30, 35, 40, 40, up to 60 days, letting the market do its thing, right? And that's how you make money over and over and over again, month after month after month. You know, reinvesting the gains in the market. Now, doing that strategy, yes, you lose out on, you know, possibly having a 10 bagger, right? You lose out on having uh, a stock that quadruples, in a month or in a week. Yeah, I'm not going to have that. It is what it is. I'm not going to have. That's fine. I mean, it is what it is. 1025 IV is my IG, MV, excuse me. That it's the downside of the trade, but it is okay, man. I try to do that whole like, let me make 100% of my money. Let me make $15,000, taking 20% probability trades, man. It just get me pissed off and stressed out. Get me pissed off and stressed out. Market is red, my account is red. Mm-mm-mm. God damn, bro. I was up $400 for the day. Now I'm down 18. But again, as long as the market doesn't hit 3,200, I'm good. Y'all still gonna pay me my 7,500 if I wanted to, wait all the way until expiration, which you never do, right? You never, ever, ever allow, never wait to expiration. That doesn't matter because I mean, if you're in a spread that's gonna earn $7,500 over 90 days, right? Once you get to 5,000, 6,000, we're really 5,000. Once you get to like five, is it worth risking the other, you know, 48, 49,000 for another five? It's not worth that. So yeah, let's just go ahead and close the trade and create a new trade. You know, that's the key thing about spreads. People don't realize, once you get to about 50%, it's no longer worth the other 50. It's really no longer worth the risk. So just get the 50, close it, and open it back up again. That's the key secret that a lot of other people aren't teaching people. Big Onk, yeah, yeah, I mess with cryptos. I was just talking about that earlier in the day. Love cryptos. I'm been a big fan of Monero. Big fan of Monero. Uh, My fear in Monero, which prevents me from going all in, is an outright ban, by the federal government, which I think could come. But the only reason I think it hasn't came is because you've got a lot of individuals in high net worth who are using Monero to move capital. Monero being the only Bitcoin that has not been able to be broken by the FBI. Its cryptograph process has not been able to be broken by the FBI. In fact, the FBI has a $10 million reward for anybody who can show them how to decrypt Monero. So I believe my thesis on why Monero is going to be extremely successful, or at least be a top five crypto one day, is that in a world where everything you do is going to be tracked, there's going to be a space uh, for a crypto where you just can't be seen. I just think that there's going to be something out there like that, uh, that's going to be a lucrative opportunity for people. You know. Yes, MS. This trade is over $47,000, so I'm not playing with, I'm not even gonna lie to people and say like I'm playing with a couple hundred or something like that. I've been on YouTube now almost, 9, 10 years. So talking about the stock market since 2012. So it's been a lot of YouTube money, my 9 to 5 that I had up until a couple years ago, affiliate money, pump and dumps that I used to run. So yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to people. Like a lot of other traders. Hey guys, I made $15,000 today. Okay, well, how much money did you use? That was a used $160,000 to make that trade. A lot of people are fronting with you. You said bands won't matter. Atomic swaps are live. No need for any exchanges to swap BTC or XMR. You're right, Gaston. You're right. My fear in terms of that, where you have the ban, won't necessarily be able to stop you, but what it does is just a psychological damage to the price of cryptocurrency, right? Where you come out with a ban, like India banned Bitcoin for a while. Bitcoin is banned in Nigeria, right? But Nigerians still use Bitcoin because they have a shitty currency. They have a shitty fiat currency. Like most African currencies, they're all shit. They're printed in Europe, so they don't even have control of their currency. So they're just printing, 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 printing. And what a lot of them do have decided to put basically every dollar they can into Bitcoin because that protects them from that devaluation. So that's my only fear is just that a ban has such a psychological, you know, uh, disruption just to the price. People are like, oh, well, it's banned, so next thing you know, the thing is down 30%. That's what pisses me off. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. You literally still swap. Absolutely. On the Monero platform with no middleman. Absolutely. Any thoughts on the crypto Algorand? I'm not familiar with the Algorand. What you said? What about shorting Vega? Why would you want to do that? You get caught on the wrong side of that, and God help you and your account. You remember? I don't know, Stephen, how long you've been trading, but there was a product. I want to say it was called like XXIV or something like that. And you had guys who were committing suicide, being on the wrong side of those trades. Look that up. It was called XXIV or something. This was like 2018-ish. Very dangerous to do. You really have to know what you're doing to do that. People like to do what they aren't supposed to do. U.S. government bans it, free press, and people get interested. I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. You know, now that you say it that way, I mean, you can go back to, the initiation of Bitcoin. People say, hey, using any kind of other currency is illegal. And those are many of the first people who got into Bitcoin were the fact that people were like, yeah, I don't want to use the fucking dollar. And they've been well rewarded for their patience if they stuck around. My thing that pisses me off is I just didn't have, and I still think about it this today. I didn't have the social network at the time they introduced me to cryptocurrency. I did not hear about cryptocurrency until 2016. That's the God honest truth. I do not have any recollection of hearing the word Bitcoin before 2016. I think about it. I think about it a lot because I said, well, if I had heard about it, would have I had put some money into it? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Particularly now when I hear about, man, if you would have had $100 in Bitcoin, it's 171,000 or something like that today. I would have definitely have put some money into it, but I didn't have the social circle. You know, now I'm going to meetups. Well, not now, but you know, now I'll go on those, meetup.com when I hear about, or prior to, well, before COVID anyway. I go there and I hear about, a new crypto or a new technology or something like that. You got to be actively out here seeking information. And in those spaces where they're, actively telling people about these new technologies. But I still every day think about it as a really, really a missed opportunity. Even though I think I would have ended up selling it, you know, I would have ended if I got in, man, at like 2 cent, I would have ended up selling that shit at you know a dollar or something like that, because it would have been like, whoa, look at all this money. Yeah, that's like Amazon. They said they would have bought in and stuff like that. But I legitimately think, just thinking about my mental pride, I think I would have bought in. I wouldn't have paid a lot. I wouldn't have paid a lot, but if you could have showed me how to get in with like $5, $10, $100 back in 2010, I would have did it. Just thinking of my mindset, I would have did it. You know, I would have did it. When Facebook went public, I bought. Facebook. I remember just like yesterday when Facebook went public. Just like yesterday, I remember it was, and then for a while it was at 40 something or whatever it was at the time. Made a decent little bit of change on Facebook, and that was back when, like many of us, we started investing with, hey, what products do you buy? Okay, you shop at Walmart? Well, buy Walmart stock. You got an AT&T phone? Buy AT&T. You know what I'm saying? That's that elementary bullshit. So I was like, hey, I use Facebook. Why don't I buy Facebook stock? Didn't even really know what I was doing. No, you're fine, Gaston. He said XMR gets you pumped. It's mad. Oh, absolutely. Look, Monero is my little secret. I'm telling you, Monero's gonna be top five. I'm telling people right now. I've been saying that for 2, 3 years. Monero's top five. I don't care if it goes up or down. I believe in a world where they want to track your every move. These companies want to track your every single move. You know, there is a space for where people are just going to be hungry to have their money somewhere where nobody can see it. They want to be able to buy something and nobody can see what they bought and who they sold it to and where they bought it from. I think there's a space for that, you know. my girl had went to a dealership a couple days ago, and she brought back, some pictures of the car or whatever. She was showing me the car, and next thing you know, I go to see her, and I leave her house. I'm going through my phone, and next thing you know, the ad for the dealership is on my phone. And I'm going through my feed, my Facebook feed, and the ad for this dealership that I've never been to. But the fact that she was showing me the car that she had taken a picture of at that dealership, somehow these apps were communicating to me that maybe because and my phone was in proximity with her phone, that maybe I'm somehow interested in also purchasing a vehicle from that dealership. These apps are crazy. They're tracking you, man. Because there's no way that I should be seeing an ad from that dealership at all. I don't live on that part of town. I'm not looking for no car, but because I was, you know, in proximity, immediate proximity of somebody shopping for a vehicle from that dealership, there's somehow some kind of tracking thing going on between phones to communicate like, okay, so you next to this person looking for a car. Maybe you're interested in possibly looking for a car. you know you never got into margins, still use it. I'm still new and use Charles Schwab for basic trading. Okay. Charles Schwab, good broker. I love their customer service at Charles Schwab. Very nice people, very respectful people. Charles Schwab is a very, very, you know, they're very, very respectable people out there. They treat you with respect. I like that a lot. You know, that's why I love my bro. That's why I can't do Robinhood. I can't do these places where I keep my money and I can't get somebody on the phone. Robinhood just opened up a call center, and they're not even 100%. I hear they're hiring people or whatever, but they just got pressured into opening up a call center because these legislators, they were like, well, why don't you have people who can answer the phone and ask and answer questions about their account? They got bullied into it. These people wanted your money, and and the only way you could check on it was an email. Fuck that. You not keeping my money, and all I can do is email you. No, I'm about to pull up. I need somewhere. I need somewhere where I can go to pull up on you, and I need a number to call you any time of the day and night. I need that. You know, that's why I can't be with a Robin Hood. I can't be with, these other little brokers where all you can do is just email them and you gotta wait 24 to 48 hours. I ain't got time for that. Shit. Mm-mm-mm. Adam Gergert, yeah, targeted ads, absolutely. That's what it is, man. Okay, right. So you have Cardona, you have Doge, looking to buy Safe and some other coins. Okay. What was the name of this rapper? Jim Jones, Capo Coin. How's his Capo Coin doing? He was on a press run. Capo Coin. He was on a press run a couple weeks ago, just trying to really push his Capo Coin. And yeah, I'm gonna call you back another time. Trying to push his Capo Coin, and it wasn't really. I don't know if it was doing good or not, but he's kind of late to the party. Yeah, Jim Jones has a coin. He called it Capo Coin. He has a coin, but the thing about these rappers, man, you got to understand when you don't have the clout for the space. There's certain spaces where you just don't have the clout like that. So it's best that you get behind somebody else who does have the clout and maybe you get in on a percentage basis, like, okay, we about to do, I know they don't really do the ICO or frown on the ICOs on that, but just something else where you kind of just are associated with it, but you're not the front man. He put himself as the front man. At the end of the day, a rapper doesn't really have that much clout in the space. That's why even Nas, had to have somebody else get him in on the Coinbase deal. If you look at the Nas situation, it was more or less like a dude who was like a big fan of Nas, and he went to Nas, was like, "Hey man, I got invited to participate in this thing called Coinbase. Woo woo woo, you should invest." So he wasn't even, you know, invited to begin with. He just had another accredited investor who came to him and was like, "Come into this thing we got going on here." So Nas was like, associated, got in early, but wasn't the front man because he didn't have the clout like that in the space. That's the way you go about it. That's the way you go about it. Said Safe Moon. Safe Moon at this point, Safe Moon, don't you think that's kind of like OTC almost? It just came out, what, in March or something like that? It's very diluted and it's just kind of like, okay, we'll see how many people can grab it up. You know, that's where I like the Doge. Safe Moon, I like the Doge because now you've got a strong base. Safe Moon is basically where Doge was 2 years ago, where you're still trying to get everybody to accumulate. Doge, the accumulation has happened, and now you're waiting for the late people to kind of get to the party to where you get that, wherever it is now to $1 and higher. Steve said my channel is a great social circle. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of one of the yeah, this channel's got me into a lot of great opportunities. Absolutely. Somebody says, "Help me 100. Do I still like GME?" I never liked GME, man. You must be new here. I never liked GME, bro. I can't stand GME. I've lost $1,000 shorting GME months ago. Just kind of not fucking around with it, but it was just a bad trade. Yeah, absolutely, Adam. Nas got in there, made a grip of money, and I know they all sold out at the top too. I know they had to sell all, at the top because coin has just been a freaking turd, man. Yeah, when it IPO'd at 420, I know they were running to get out of there, man. They were running to get out of there. That first day was horrible. If you remember Coinbase, that first day was horrible. You can just tell they was running out of there. What happened to Akon? Yeah, I don't know what happened to Akon's coin, but that's again when you just don't have the clout, man, for the space. You know, people aren't hearing about it. People aren't hearing about it. You know, you got to understand a lot of us ain't really in there yet, so we're kind of still late to the crypto party. A lot of people are very late to the crypto party. That's why it still makes so much sense to invest even now, even now. It's a YPG short squeeze. Yeah, yeah. This is an office REIT, right? Wasn't is this like an office REIT? Washington Prime Group. I think they're an office tower REIT or something like that, back to work kind of thing. Yeah, shout out to those people who got caught up in that, boy. Woo! Some pain being delivered over there. Some pain being delivered over there. Said the whole crypto market is the OTC. Yeah, when you put it that way, I guess you're right. Shiba Inu coin. Yeah, that's man. Come on, that's again that goes back to the safe coin thing. What's the real big difference between Shiba Inu and SafeMoon? You know. And shout out to them for coming up with these clever names, man. SafeMoon that's a tight ass name. Shiba Inu, that's tight ass name. These guys know what to do. And he's got the ticker safe. I mean that man, that's beautiful marketing. Beautiful marketing. Says SafeMoon is trash. But yeah, Gaston, that's what you're talking about, man. They come up with these names that get people, Safe Moon. That just sounds like high tech and young and maybe it might be something exciting and let's go SPX 4310. Man, this market is boring as hell today. Shit. I'm thinking today is a Tuesday. We got a long weekend. We're gonna have some big moves in the market. Shit is embarrassing me, man. God damn. Shit is embarrassing me. Count ain't doing nothing. Last week was a good week for me. Green pretty much across the board, but this is garbage. Is BBW is BBW moving because this whole Wall Street bets? What the hell is BBW? That's a ticker called BBW? Oh, it is a ticker. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm thinking like fat women. My bad. Build a Bear Workshop. Oh, okay, okay. Build a Bear Workshop. Well, okay, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably affiliated with them in some way. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I'm BBW. I'm thinking ass and titties. He's talking about Build a Bear. Okay. Yeah, shout out to WPG, man. These guys are making some money over there. Shout out to WPG. Appreciate all the new subscribers. God damn, this market ain't doing shit. Apple ain't really doing nothing. All the. Yeah, I already know that ain't doing nothing. AT&T, I ain't know that. Um, what's a good industrial stock? Let me see what CSX is doing. I ain't doing nothing either. What about PPG? Okay. Well, PPG's at least moving a little bit. I got a little bit of that in my investment account, my little exposure to that in the 401k. Even though I do not believe that's gonna save me, boy. I do not believe that these 401ks are not gonna save nobody. You know, I just don't believe them. Yeah, yeah. I was like, what? BBW? That's so funny, man. Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. X. God damn. Yeah, I got my new printer coming in tomorrow because I want to start doing some news. We're start talking about some news and cultural events and stuff like that while we're trading, man. I got some things to put out there, man. Like what's going on at the border, what's going on with these injections. I'll just say it, injections. I'm gonna have to hide my language. I still haven't gotten it, by the way. I still not have. I'm not getting it. I don't care what anybody say. Let me, in fact, show you guys my protection mechanism here. It's right on my desk. I don't know if you guys can see these, but this is my little protection mechanism. I got these vitamins. I got like 3,000 milligram vitamin C. I got uh, where's my? Let me see here. Yeah, my fish oil. I got all kind of stuff, man. I just been taking these vitamins, and they've been doing the trick, man. I'm still seeing people, meeting people. I just don't believe this thing, man. I know. I mean, do I come off reckless? I hope I'm not coming off as reckless. For me, it's not about like today and tomorrow. It's about like 10, 20 years from now. That's for me. That's the fear. It's the 10, 20 years from now, how it's going to react with your body. I already got a homeboy right now who's telling me he's having trouble, you know, being erect. And when I tell people that, people are like, "Well, he told you he couldn't get." Well, I mean, that's my boy from way back. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Damn, these motherfuckers that told me to go get the shop because he works for the school district, and they putting pressure on them like, yeah, you need to go, blah blah blah, you need to go." And he's telling me that he's not, he's having trouble performing as well as he did before he got it. Now, it could be simply a mental game, it could be a mental thing, it could be physical fitness, it could be recent eating patterns, but he honestly believes uh, that the first one that he got of the Moderna has had some effect on his ability to perform sexually. That's some fucked up shit, And you got to ask yourself, are you even a man if you can't get erect? You can't even really call yourself a man if you can't do that, you know. So, man, I'm in I'm terrified when I you know think about me possibly getting that. I just don't trust it, man. I just don't trust it. Not yet. Not yet. Yeah, MS is the long term, man. It's the long term. When you wake up, drink lime water before you go to bed, drink rum grapefruit, vitamins take during the day. Yeah, I got, he said wood is going up crazy. That's hilarious. But no, I saw that timber that timber going up crazy too, man. The price of wood. And you see it's been through something like that before, but and when I try to get somebody to explain why is wood going higher like that, no one can really explain it to me. The way that 'cause I don't know if it's a supply or it's just simply like they can't get workers out there or what, you know. But people don't even care, man, because I mean, people still buying houses, people still buying these overpriced homes. I'm looking at places. I grew up in Michigan, so I'm looking at some of these neighborhoods in Michigan, and I'm looking at prices for homes that are 250, 300. These places still are for the most part shit, cities, and these prices of these homes are ridiculous. It's ridiculous for some of these homes. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't live in this some of these these neighborhoods, some of these cities. Especially when you're talking about non-core cities. So you're talking about like these suburbs of suburbs, even in your state that you live in. Look where the main city is, look where the suburb is, and look at the suburb of the suburb. You'll see some of these houses. I'm like, what? I'm not paying to live here. I'm not paying that kind of money to live here. Makes no sense. You damn near 3, 4 hours from downtown, no real shopping, no real job opportunities. 250K, 300K? Makes no sense. Yeah. Gaston was talking about how that's how he likes his girls. I'm slowing down on that, man. Because it's getting to a point where I'm just, I think I realized this year particularly, like I'm starting to get to a point where I'm like out of the loop in terms of some of these young girls. I was hanging with this girl who was like 22 and she was saying all kind of words and stuff, and I was like, what does that mean? Like that was for the first time I just felt like I was out of the loop, and it was just that's when it hit me like I'm okay, you just too young for me. Like, I gotta stop messing with you because it's just you start to see those age differences. And they come around, they just want to lay at your house all day. They're not really doing nothing. They don't want to clean nothing. They don't really want to talk about nothing real productive. You know what I mean? So it's just like, man, I'm just wasting my time with you. So I'm getting off that. Your boy's trying to get stable now, man. I know I've said that a lot, but I'm really serious this year because, at this point, man, it's just like these girls is getting older, and the older a lot some of them are getting, they're getting angry, so they're not really happy no more. So they don't really trying to go on these road trips like I like to do, because they got their kids, and it's just like, okay, I need to find somebody who's good that I can build around and, you know, move on with life because they starting to get stressed out. That West Virginia's paying people to move there, man. If you want to deal with people who are high on meth breaking into your home, that's the problem with West Virginia. They got a meth problem, man. You got people who they got to put barbed wires around their fences. They got to put, you know, what's the called those rods on their windows because you got people who are, drugged up on meth breaking into homes in the middle of the night, man, because they're just on meth. And let me tell you something, man. Try to fight somebody who's on drugs, man. When these people be talking about superhuman strength and all that shit, that's a lot of times that's where they get it from. Try to fight somebody who's on meth, man. You got to understand it's a complete disassociation from reality. So some of these people don't feel pain or, what I'm saying, you slap them in the face with a rod, they just still coming at you like a fucking zombie, dude. You know? So, yeah, if you want to deal with that, move to West Virginia, man. Have these white folks breaking in your house. Ah! Okay. Yeah, I'm good, bruh. I'm good. I'm good. You said you met women in their 30s about that, talking about nothing. It's mostly the young ones. Yeah, you might meet a few of that, but for the most part, when women get to their 30s, they gotta be about their business, because once you get as a woman, and I've noticed anyway, they start taking their jobs more seriously and stuff, because they realize sometimes that sometimes nobody's gonna come to help them. So if you don't get it together, you could end up homeless, you end up some real terrible situations, you know. So most of the women I meet in their 30s, they pretty much got, they got their little crib and, they're trying to do their little thing. She might be getting a little food stamp or whatever. So funny I just said that because I just got done talking to somebody, girl who work at the food stamp office. That's really the home girl though. That's really the home girl. Said cokeheads are strong. Hell yeah, man. Cokeheads are strong, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell people, man. Like, I remember one day, this is, man, early 20s, man, got a fight at the gas station with this cokehead, dude. He hit me with a left. I was like, oh, oh. I mean, he didn't hit me, he didn't knock me out, but I was like, oh, okay, you got a little power behind that. You got a little power behind that. Little crackhead man who used to ask me for 25 cents. I usually would give it to him. And this time I didn't give it to him. I walked in the gas station. I got my honey bun. I remember just like yesterday, I got my honey bun, a little drink or whatever, them little iced teas, little 99-cent iced teas. I come out the door. This dude, he hit me. I was like, what the fuck? This nigga hit me, right? I was like, oh, so, had to go to town on him. I didn't really want to do that. Of course, I had to stop going to that gas station. I had to just stop going there. But I had to fight him back, because I had a honey with me in the car. So, I mean, I mean, dude test you and you got a girl with you, you ain't got no choice. You know, got no choice, man. So, and I can't stand that shit because, it's a bad look. But at the same time, this is a man who's like my father's age. So I'm like, I'm supposed to respect you. But at the end of the day, you a crackhead. So I got to put it on you, man. You know what I'm saying? Put the nigga in the chokehold. You know what I'm saying? So, all that, man. This was like 2009. I just got out the Navy. You know what I'm saying? Put the old nigga in the chokehold, man. Put the nigga in the chokehold, and you know, you know how the neighborhood go. Come on, bro, let him go, bro. Let him go, bro. Come on, bro. Let him go. Let him go. So it's all good, man. Got in the car and got the fuck up out of there. You know. And yeah, I stopped going back to that gas station because once you can't go back up there. So that was good times, man. Good times. Yeah, I'll be doing this all this week. I'll be doing this all this week. But I'm gonna get off here in a minute because I gotta help somebody move real quick, man. I done told somebody I was gonna help them move. Fuck. Oh man. So today, tomorrow, I'm gonna go just till about 2, and I'm gonna help somebody move. When you just, like, yeah, man, I'm gonna help you. You don't actually want them to call you for the help. You know what I'm saying? Like, me, motherfucker be like, hey, if you need anything, hit me up. I didn't want you to actually call me to help you move, but what I mean? So she needs some help, man. So I'm gonna go help her out. I'm gonna go help her out. So yeah, your boy's gonna be doing some moving today and tomorrow, but I'll be live tomorrow in the morning and I go up there too. And when these girls by themselves, and that's the thing about some of these women. This girl moved to an apartment and her apartment's on the third floor. I was like, out of all the apartments, you moved to the third floor apartment? And she was on like, yeah, I'll get used to it. I mean, just some of the decisions women just be making is just so frustrating because it's like you gonna have to take all your furniture up there. It's gonna cost you more to go up. Just it's gonna be inconvenient after a while. When you live on the third floor of an apartment complex, you got to understand, like, there will be times where you want to go to your car and you will say you're not going because you don't feel like going all the way down there and coming all the way back. And I get it, like, it's just her and her daughter, so she on like on some security type stuff, and I get it, but this is a white neighborhood, man. Ain't nobody trying to go bust up in there like where she stay at. So it's just, but I understand, man. These women, they live on themselves. They just be making emotional decisions. Man, it's- Yeah, yeah, I'll be back at 9:30. 9:30. I'll be doing 9:30 to 2 tomorrow. 9:30 to 2 tomorrow. But I mean, if this market keeps embarrassing me like this, man, I might stay 9:30 to 2. God damn. Embarrassing me. Look at this whole damn day. Look at my account can't stay green. Shit. Like I said earlier, I'm trying to go live today. Press some of these white folks, because if I impress them, that's when, you know, my people's gonna come in. But it's just not happening, man. So it's not happening. It's that kind of day for me right now. Market ain't going nowhere. My spreads ain't going nowhere. The seventh floor with no elevator. Oh my God. You see, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and when I went up to visit the apartment, because they had gave her the key to whatever. So we went. I go up there to go see it, and like, she already huffing and puffing. We on the second floor. She already huffing and puffing. I'm like, you really gonna do this every day? And I'm not gonna lie. I like my girls with a little bit of weight on them. She got some big legs on her. I'm like, you actually, you're not gonna do this every day. You really wanna move into this place? And she's like, yeah, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, okay. So if that's what you want to do, you can do it. So I'm gonna help her out or whatever today. It don't take nothing but 20 minutes for me to get up there, but help her move to this new spot. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, I'll get a workout. Yeah, I'll definitely be getting a workout. I'll definitely be getting a workout. You know, definitely be getting a workout. That's for sure. I'll be all over this city, man. Sometimes in the good way, sometimes in the bad way. But and I had to calm down on that because it got time where I was just like my phone constantly going off. You know what I'm saying? I'm with one and my phone going off and it's another one. I'm just like, okay, I gotta, cash apps come in, request. And the way these girls get you, they'll get you, you know, with the $20 cash. You'll be like, oh, okay, she's just asking for $20. That's where it adds up, man. That's where it starts to add up, man. Cause they know they're not gonna get like just straight up $300 or $400 out of me. It's like, what you calling me for $300 for? And if it's something dumb, I'm definitely not gonna say yes to that. So she'll ask for 20, then 2 days later she'll ask for another 20 or 30. You know, I'm like, and you would think like these be like hood rats or something. No, these are like women who like went to school and they just got real crap jobs. Cause you'll see these honeys out here that went to really good schools, but then they just got these little turd jobs. Went to good schools. I know a girl who went to Temple University in Philadelphia, and that's the where I was just talking about, working at the welfare office for $17 an hour. This girl went to Temple University. One very good academic school. She's making $17 an hour. Very smart. You know, Unfortunately, she got a bum ass nigga to give her two kids. So now she's kind of, I don't want to say she's not struggling at all, but she's just under the weight of two children and not getting really a lot of help for it. But incredibly bright. And yeah, she be hitting me up $20, $30. You know, so and I can't say no because if you say no, then she gonna keep the most important thing away from me. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say no too many times. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say no too many times. But let me tell you something, fellas, man. Like A long time ago, I thought that I had to play in the NBA to move like I play in the NBA. And you don't need to make anywhere near that kind of money. You don't need to make anywhere near that kind of money. I'd say personally, as a brother, I don't know about anybody else, but once you crack like 70,000, whether it be a 9 to 5 or your hustle, you you a super nigga, bro. You a super nigga. Like you, there's really no house in some of these neighborhoods that I can't really afford if I really wanted to buy, or there's really nothing that I can't, nobody that I can go see and be like, oh well, she not on my level or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, a lot of these dudes that these girls are messing with, they're so dusty, not even really trying to really, be on a certain kind of level or really pursue any kind of real, you know, endeavor. So if you just got, you got yourself stable, you got your own spot, you got your own, little whip that you pulling around, and and you can be able just to, help her out with a light bill or here or there or something like that, man. You good, man. You good. So don't ever feel like, oh, you're not a baller, you're not in the NBA, or you're not. Because I know a lot of, I'm talking to some of these young dudes. Shit, man, I'm trying to be a millionaire. I mean, that's fine. Hey, strive for the moon, right? Strive for the moon. I don't see myself honestly getting there, before the age of 45, just doing the math. Unless I come up with something just amazing or something like that, or new trading style. But just, I'm doing the math and I'm just kind of looking at it. It's just going to take time for me. But, you can take care of yourself and take care of somebody else, and people will respect you at around 70,000. Around 70,000. 70,000, that's where you can, help out somebody and it don't really stress you out like that. It don't really stress you out like that. Yeah. You said even 60K is good if you could. Yeah, 60, even 60K is good. You got a young kid. If you got a young kid or you don't have no kids, 60 is just right. 60 is fine. 60 is fine. And you live, let's say, in one of these states, like one of these southern states, you straight, bro. You straight. Now, if you live in California or New York City or something like that, then you really, I don't know if that can really help you out there, but Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Virginia, certain parts of Virginia, not necessarily DC or North Virginia, but you in those states, Michigan, Wisconsin, certain parts of Wisconsin, 60, 70K, man, you're a responsible man. You're a responsible man and you're not sweating for nothing, because I watch, Kevin Samuels and stuff, and he's talking about high value men, and yeah, you got a 250K for 4 kids, bro. What? I'm seeing brothers out here managing 9 kids with 4 or 5 baby mamas on, you know, 60, 65. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course they don't, they're not living in the mansion, but I'm saying like, I don't know where he's getting some of his numbers from, but I'm telling you right now, it don't cost 250K to raise 4 kids. I don't know where he's getting his numbers from. 250K to raise 4 kids? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know because, you know, some of these white boys ain't making that kind of money and they got 4 or 5 kids, man. You go to some of these police departments, some of these dudes, got 4 or 5 kids making 50, 60, 70. They making it work. They making it work. These police officers, they don't get paid shit, depending on what what department you were. I mean, obviously NYPD or LAPD, LA Sheriff's Department. Yeah, that's a different level. But you go out into these counties in the middle. These guys making 40, 45 starting salary, and they have a whole family. They'll have 2 kids, 3 kids. The wife does some little retail bullshit, and they making it work, man. So don't feel like you have to be making 250K to have a family or maintain a home. Not at all. Not at all. Big Ank, you were saying what was her major? Sociology. Sociology. And that's kind of one of the reasons why she's kind of in the another reason why she's in the predicament that she's in. But it is what it is. Some of these girls they go there for these big schools or these really expensive schools, and unfortunately they don't choose the best major. Or you'll get a girl who's in social work or teaching. Many of our sisters when they go to college, a lot of times they're pushed into the BAs. They are you know, honestly deterred from going into the sciences a lot of times. Uh, Even though I think they have the mental capacity to be in the sciences, but you know, they'll put them in these math classes where they're not given really any real guidance or any real support, and that can deter somebody, who's coming from somebody who's math the right way, and now you in a college class trying to learn statistics or pre-calc. Yeah, I mean you're not gonna do well. The next thing you know, you majoring in social work because you like, okay, I need to get something. So next thing you know, she just become a social worker and just do that. So yeah, she got a master's or even a PhD. Not this girl in particular, but you'll see a woman who has a PhD in social work. She's making 60, 55 sometimes with a PhD. Well, because these are very low paying jobs sponsored by, government. And sometimes they have the funding, sometimes they don't. It is what it is, you know. Yeah. All right, guys. So it looks like this market isn't going to go anywhere, man. So I'm gonna cut it off early today, but I'll be back tomorrow. Your boy's down for the day, down 1100, no, 1100. Oh my God, I hope I wasn't 11. Down $111. So obviously it's gonna be a red day for me today, but hopefully tomorrow we'll bounce back with a little bit of green. If not, no more red, and we just let the options mature the long way. So shout out to everybody who's joining me today. Again, appreciate everybody who came into the chat room. I'll be here again tomorrow. Please join me. Please join me. Get the word out. I'll do my best tonight to spread the word as well and continue to grow this because now I see other people who are doing this, all day. I'm like, okay, fine, I can do this all day. That's fine. I'm not really doing much during the day anyway, so I can do it myself. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. See you back here tomorrow in the morning, hopefully with a better result for the trading day. Tomorrow is another trading day